Hey guys, might as well start a little bit early. We're all here. Say our hellos, and then we can do the second part of Katie's Turnpike Wendy's testimony. Isn't that something? I looked a few minutes ago and I think it was 7:20. That's amazing. But since we're all here right now, we have time to hit that like button. Oh, why you're teasing us. Hi Chris, how are you tonight? That was a nice jump. I looked this morning and it was 600 and something. Then hi, one man's trash. Welcome. Hi, Deborah. How is everybody tonight? Everybody got their coffee? I promise mine's not spiked with anything. Oh, hello, Barbara. Thank you for watching that. It's all because of you guys that I reached that milestone and I wanted to do a video. Oh, I hope everything's okay, Deborah. Welcome, one man's trash. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Laugh out. Oh my gosh, yours is spiked. I'm so upset by the pseudo case. Yeah, that's something, isn't it? Thank you, one man's trash. This little channel's growing. It's awesome. And it's all because of you guys, like all because of you guys. I'm just the big mouth. So I've been told. Just making sure I said hello to everybody. This part of the trial, yes, we all need Hugh's humor. He got a lot of stars last night. Thank you. One man trash says he loves my spunk. It was a huge increase. I was shocked this morning. Hi, Jane. I was so shocked this morning. I was like, wow, I must be doing something right. So as I was saying, this is a huge, or this was a good one. Like the way Chris went after her, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Hey Hugh, I'm shocked you didn't mention anything about the thumbnail. I put it there just for you. Oh, thank you, Jane. You're sweet. DCI. I'm not sure what that means. And now we're going to see how many times I accidentally mute myself tonight. Hi, Kristen. I tried to look today to see if I could find a translated version of The Unveiling by Ruth Markel. I couldn't seem to find one. But I'm thinking if worse comes to worse and we can't find it for you, I'll read it and record it and then have it do a translation that way for you. So glad you started early, took anxiety med to calm down. Now maybe to be relaxed. Oh, well, we're glad you're here, Deborah. We'll do our best. I don't know how Turnpike Wendy can calm us down, but hope my neighbors don't mind me blasting this show on my deck. I hope they don't either. DeCoste, yeah. I love your spell check. Marie, yes, you will need a bottle of ketchup. I've been watching Robert Teller's bizarre trial. Oh, I've been keeping up with it. I haven't 100% been watching. Oh, I will because I don't mind reading it again. That book is amazing. For 10 years, we've been waiting for justice. Please keep us sane during the final countdown for Donna. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Hi, Anne. Welcome back. How about Star Trek, Wendy? After all, she left Tallahassee at a warp speed. She was like, beam me up, Scotty. That's crazy. Deborah, hey, wife, Mary, Christine, Jane, and anyone I missed. Hello, coffee crew. Okay, let's jump into this. We're here. Let's watch DeCoste just rip Wendy a new one. If you can read it like in the last video would be perfect. I understood everything you said. Oh, okay. I can do that. Sparks were flying behind her car. Yeah, because it was so weighed down. It was so weighed down. Both cars. And then we got love the Anne. Anne's getting love. All right, let's jump into Wendy here. Blech.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Adelson, this is all about you, isn't it?
Excuse me?
This is all about you, right?
I was called to be a witness and I'm testifying, so I don't understand the question. Is it a question?
There's about 100 people in this courtroom, right?
There are people in the courtroom.
Possibly thousands watching, right?
I have no idea who's watching.
And it's all because of your failed marriage, right?
I disagree with that.
You disagree that your ex-husband is dead because of your family.
Yes, I disagree.
These jurors are here for weeks doing their civic duty because of your marriage, right?
No.
Katie's going through this ordeal because of that marriage, right?
No.
Dan Markel's parents are going through absolute misery because of your failed marriage. Isn't that right?
No, that's incorrect.
Well, let's talk about the marriage. You and Professor Markel, you met when you were in law school. You told that to Miss Kaplan. And it was a whirlwind romance, right? Right?
It was not a whirlwind romance, no.
It led to a wedding, February 26th of 2006. You had a big wedding in Boca Raton, right?
Did we get married on February 26, 2006? Is that the question? Yes.
In Boca Raton.
In Boca Raton, Florida.
And it wasn't a small wedding, it was a big wedding.
There were many people in attendance.
All right, in this marriage, it led to 2 children, right? Your 2 boys.
Are you asking me if I have 2 boys?
Yes.
Yes.
And Professor Markel, he was a great father, wasn't he?
He was a very good father, yes.
Those boys were his world, right?
As well as his work, yes.
And they adored him too, didn't they?
I can't admit it.
Now, this marriage started to fall apart, right?
It did.
But there were problems from the very beginning, weren't there? Right?
Are you asking me, what is the very beginning? The very beginning of when we got married?
Literally at the wedding.
There were problems before we got married.
All right, so at the wedding, The government asked you about kosher at law, right?
About what, I'm sorry?
Keeping kosher,
About keeping kosher, yes.
right?
The
In
government
your
asked.
wedding, at your wedding was the groom's family, the Markel family, and they are more strict than your family and friends about keeping kosher.
They do not keep kosher.
Wasn't that one of the problems in your marriage, that Professor Markel was very insistent about keeping kosher?
About his kosher rules, but those are different than his family's.
So you're saying that it wasn't a problem at the wedding, that there were people from the groom's side of the family that were there that strictly keep kosher, that they were told that it was going to be kosher food, but it actually wasn't?
So there was a misunderstanding about whether the food was going to be kosher style or more in adherence with kosher law. There was a miscommunication about that.
So you had
happened.
people that strictly keep kosher eating non-kosher food, which is a big deal.
That actually is not what happened. You had, Danny was upset that it was kosher style and not strictly adhering to kosher law. So
So
he was disappointed.
So there's problems right from the beginning.
That was a problem at our wedding, yeah.
Fast forward now to September 10th, 2012. Professor Markel, he's on a business trip, right?
Yes.
Oh, I don't even have, sorry guys, I thought I had it up there. 1 second. Pardon me. Why is it not up there? Huh. I thought I was ready. Here I wasn't. Oh, that's why. Hold on. Let's get rid of the banner. I am so sorry. Pardon me. I apologize for that. So it's Rochelle. It should be up there. It should say Crime and Coffee and then Rochelle underneath. I'll catch up here. Hugh Hefner is the only expression she has besides since overdosing on Botox. Absolutely. Which trial is it's a man. So this trial is the second trial of Katie Magbanowa, because her first trial was a mistrial or a hung jury. So she is retried the second time. What's this one? Couldn't admit their boys were in the Where's World. No, she had to minimize it. It's just disgusting. And it wasn't even kosher style, their wedding. Yeah, Katie's second trial. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. I'm surprised to see a man and not the blonde woman. Yeah, so this is Katie's lawyer speaking right now. The one we did last night had Georgia. Lacoste is the attorney. Hubba hubba. Hi, GMA. I'm glad you're in the boat. My email address hit rejected to you. Having trouble with wrong password issues. Oh. Please hit that like button, guys. It truly does help. We'll get back to it now. I love it. We have Grandma Marty.
He's in New York City at New York University, right?
I believe so, yes.
And he's doing a presentation.
I don't know what he was doing.
Your husband at the time was in New York to give a presentation. You knew that, right?
I knew he was in New York. I didn't know if he was attending a conference or giving a presentation, but he was in New York for work.
Yes.
Now, you had not communicated with him for 2 days.
I really don't remember.
You text him at around 2:30 in the afternoon, right? Right before he's about to do the presentation.
I really don't remember.
But you do remember dropping the bomb on him, don't you? Telling him that you wanted a divorce.
So I did not drop a bomb on him. We'd been in therapy for several months beforehand where I told him several times I wanted a divorce.
You say it's not a bomb, but you agree with me that he begged you to reconsider.
He was very upset and yes, wanted me to reconsider, but
In that phone call, he's begging you to reconsider. Please don't leave. Please don't break up our family, right?
he was very upset, yes.
And he was heartbroken. I mean, upset indicates that there was anger. What he was heartbroken, right?
That I decided to divorce him after telling him I would, yes.
Despite being at NYU for a presentation, he rushes home. He gets on the next flight, right?
I honestly don't remember if he got on the next flight, but he did come home quickly.
2:30, he finds out in New York. By 11 p.m., he's walking in the door to your old house at Trescott Drive, right?
I don't know.
But you do know that when he walks in the house, what he finds. You know that, right?
Yes, I left him the papers.
You left the divorce papers on the bed, right?
Yes,
Half the furniture was gone.
half the furniture was not gone.
A good amount of his stuff was gone.
Nothing of his was gone.
The boys' stuff was gone, right?
Some of the boys' things were gone. I'd taken enough so that I had for the boys, but no,
You were gone,
I was gone.
and
Unbelievable.
so were his boys.
His boys were not gone. He saw them the next day, and they would not have been awake if he's coming home at 11 p.m.
Let's stay on topic here.
I'd love to stay on topic.
When he walks in the door, the boys are not in the house, right?
Correct.
Exactly, Barbara.
And you did not tell Professor Markel where you were taking the boys. He may have seen them the next day, but you did not let him know where you were going to be staying with his boys.
With our boys? Yes,
So you agree with me that they're also his.
of course they're his.
And he should be entitled to know where his wife is taking his children.
Absolutely.
That's not all you took, is it?
Excuse me?
You two had a joint checking account at Schwab, right?
We did.
And you went into that account before you dropped the bomb, and you took out half of that account, right?
Correct.
Roughly $350,000.
Half, yes. Of our joint account.
$350,000.
I don't remember the amount, but yes.
You know that it was in the hundreds of thousands.
I really don't remember the amount, sir.
She really, no matter when it comes up to money or anything like that, she's always minimizing money. Always. Plus, we know 2 weeks before you cleared out the safety deposit box there, Turnpike Wendi. This woman does my head in. Jane, yes, I had to greatly use my talk filter.
Is it that insignificant of a sum to you that you
I'm
don't
not saying it's
remember?
an insignificant sum. I'm saying I can't attest to the amount that was there.
I'm going to tone it down. You are unhappy.
I'm going
In
to
the
tone
marriage,
it down
right?
now.
That's why I got divorced, yes.
And it happens. Marriages fall apart, right?
Yes.
But you complained constantly about it, didn't you?
No, I don't think I complained constantly.
To anyone that would listen.
No, that's not true.
You agree with me that you complained to the one person that would actually do something about it.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Your big brother, Charles Adelson, you complained to him about how bad Professor Markel was and how much you hated him and didn't want to be in a marriage with him.
I definitely talked to my brother about how unhappy I was in my marriage. If that's the question, then yes.
Let's
Is
talk
that the
about it.
question?
Yes, that is a question. You talked to your brother, Charles Adelson, about how bad your marriage was.
I did, yes.
Let's talk about it. Government asked you about Charles Adelson. He's an intelligent guy, right?
He is smart.
Yeah. He's both book smart and street smart, right?
I would say so.
You would say that he's a talker.
He does like to talk.
He's got the gift of gab, so to speak.
I wouldn't say he's the gift of gab, but he does talk.
He knows what to say in the moment.
I wouldn't say that's true either.
You would say, though, that he is. Now, you were asked questions about, drug purchasing and stuff like that. You'd agree with me that he's also street smart.
I mean, I think he has common sense.
and that he lives life to a certain extent on both sides of the track. During the day, he's doing periodontal work, whatever that is, crowns, root canals, whatever that is. He's doing that during the day. At night, he's out with friends, he's buying drugs, he's living life on both sides of the track.
I don't know about that he's out buying drugs.
Sorry, guys, I'm just going to stop this here because I've heard this a couple times. So if you go, let me just bring it up here for you. One sec. I'm just going to bring this over here. So if you, I'm just going to remove Miss Turnpike here for a minute. Stop screen for a minute. Because I've heard a few people say this, so I'm just going to do this for a second. So if you go to Crime and Coffee's homepage, and you click right here, right where it says Welcome Crime and Coffee Crew, and it says More. If you click there and then scroll down, you're going to see a thing here that says View Email. If you click on that, it shows you the email link. And then that way you can send me your emails for the Crime and Coffee Crew live stream. The Donna Adelson live stream. But yeah, so if you just click on that, it takes you straight to the email. Okay, we're going to get rid of that now. We'll bring Wendy back up. Okay, it was a J-Date, a Jewish site, yeah. Okay. How do you not remember money in the hundreds of thousands? I know, right, Mary? It's just disgusting. I would think that would tick a jury off more than anything else. Yep, it was J-Date. A Wade Wilson. Oh my God, that guy is something else. She has to repeat everything and put the question in her words. She minimizes how she feels about Dan and will not take responsibility for sicking her family on him. Absolutely. She is a wicked human being. Excuse me, I'm in nicotine. I very recently quit smoking. Eek. Good for you, Hugh. I wish I could. Paul, no, more than a down type of a man. I so don't like tattoos in the face. Yeah, exactly. We're rooting for you now, Hugh. Watch her turn from Jekyll to Hyde when she doesn't like a question. Oh, it's brilliant.
Now, let's talk for a second about WhatsApp. And as an aside here for a second, the government asked you the question if you used WhatsApp, right? You remember that?
I remember them asking me, yes.
On the day that Professor Markel was killed, you went in for the interview, right?
I talked to the police.
And you also gave them your phone for them to inspect.
Absolutely.
So the determination of what, if any, WhatsApp was being used, they would have from the download they did that day of your phone.
Sure.
Now, would you be surprised to learn that your brother used WhatsApp?
No.
You would agree with me that WhatsApp, and you explained it well, is end-to-end encryption.
Correct.
In your lay opinion, if you can explain to the jurors, just in case they don't know, what that means.
I don't.
Zonix.
I know that it's something we use at my work because essentially it has the ability to keep things more private. I also know that nothing's actually private and that anyone who wants to can uncode the messages. So that's what we tell people at our work.
So the thought is with WhatsApp, if I use my phone and I call somebody, the call could be listened to. If I text somebody, it's recordable, right?
I think so.
But with WhatsApp, you can send messages or have phone calls where there's no record of it.
I don't think that's true. I think there is still a record of it.
But the belief and the thought, I'll withdraw that question. Your lay understanding, though, is that the footprint that it leaves is much less than that of normal communications.
I think it's different, but I think it still leaves a digital footprint that's easily codable.
If you were to send a WhatsApp message to Ms. Kappelman, it would show that a message was sent, but it would be hard to get what the content of the message is.
I don't think that's true.
All right. Let's talk about your brother's jokes now. You don't deny that he joked about hiring a hitman.
Her joke.
He did.
You don't deny that he repeated this joke.
He did.
And he made this joke right before a hitman murdered Professor Markel.
I don't know that to be true.
Okay. He made the joke right before, and I'll leave out the hitman part, Professor Markel was killed.
He made the joke the morning that I talked to him.
Can you think of one person in this world that would actually hire two people to go kill Professor Markel other than your family?
Your Honor.
The judge ain't
Ms.
helping
Adelson,
you.
please answer. Please
I'd
address
love
me and
to.
answer the
It
question.
calls for an unbelievable amount of speculation. I mean, I'm responsible for coming up with, that's the prosecutor's duty, no? To figure out who's responsible.
Oh,
You just said a moment ago that you disagree that hitman killed Professor Markel. That's what you said, right? So my question to you is, if you're able to say, well,
I bet
it wasn't
Donna's
hitman,
trial.
then who? Tell this jury, who in this planet would have wanted to kill Professor Markel?
I have no idea.
All right,
the bee
let's get
in
into
front
that.
of you, right there.
But I want to make sure that's clear. This joke is made right before Professor Markel is murdered, right?
The joke was made many times.
It was made right before Professor Markel was murdered. Yes or no?
Yes.
July 18, 2014, you're interviewed and you make a statement saying,
Exactly.
I knew this would happen. You said that, right?
I did.
All right. Now I want to talk about your knowledge and your belief on this. You're a smart person, right?
I'm supposed to answer that.
I got to stop it here because there is, my opinion, this question, right? This statement that Jane made. The joke was they offered Dan Markel $1 million, but it was cheaper to hire a hitman. And Wendi states that she didn't give that offer to Dan. But remember, she didn't realize that Dan took her off of everything and put his sister on it. Because when she found out, she tried to take it to court. So in her mind, she was getting way more. She thought she was getting everything. So why offer them the $1 million? She gets nothing. She's paying out. Get rid of him and she gets everything. In her warped brain, that's just my opinion. That's me speculating and stuff like that. But that seems more likely to me is why this $1 million offer didn't come up. She said right there that she didn't care. Yeah, she doesn't care. Oh, absolutely. I love that. Yep. We got the man in the group. Do you think that Wendi is attractive? I think a lot of people think she's attractive. We see it, like I said, she is a pretty girl. I'm not going to say, I'm sure there's a lot of enhancement there, but I don't see it anymore because she's so ugly on the inside. She told a disgusting hitman joke to the TV repair guy the morning of the murder. Matt, I don't recall you were here last night, but I have my theory on that joke. Because in her interview, she said, when she said it to Isom, she said, sorry. You don't apologize for something that's not yours. I believe it's her joke. I believe she had said it when she got the TV. She said to Charlie, oh, I guess you got me a TV because it was cheaper than a hitman. That's my opinion. And then she says Charlie starts repeating it. Charlie reuses it. I think it's her joke. That's a great point about the minion. She's, hi, Mike. Average at best, cute for a hook nose. I think it's DeCoste. And I think it's DeCoste. $1 million, damn, spell check. Love your spell check, Hugh. Yeah, she's attractive, but all I see is ugly now. That's what I said. I think she's a... If you didn't know her, you'd think she was attractive. But when you know her, you eventually have to talk to her. She's exhausting. Yep. Agree, Mike. Of course you don't care. That's why she hightailed it out of Tally and why her mother never spoke to the police. When she told Isom that she would have come to the office the next morning. They were gone before then. NC is behind and Oh, okay. It's legal here in Canada too. I'm a woman and I thought she was pretty when I first saw her. Now I don't see pretty at all. I see evil. Same here, Same here. I like it when you say I'm right, Hugh. People attracted to beautiful women never see what's lurking beneath, like Jodi Arias, Courtney Clenny, and yeah. And Tara is Courtney's lawyer. This is crazy. Yep. It was the whole family's joke. The ultimate inside joke. Yeah. But I think it originated from Turnpike here. Turnpike Wendi. I call her Turnpike Wendi because I think has a lot of miles. Never a truer word said the same thing about that story, about that joke. Yeah, you don't say sorry about something that's not yours. And I'm Canadian, and we say sorry about everything. And I could say, I wouldn't say sorry about that. Canadians say sorry about everything. Wendi doesn't believe in being honest. She prefers honest style. I like it. I'll never get a hitman on spell check. No, you won't. Hugh, can you please explain the spell check thing? Thank you. As beauty starts on the inside, so does evil. Absolutely. 100%. She has a black heart. Absolutely, Mary. Can I just take a moment before I start and please ask everybody to hit that like and subscribe? I would greatly appreciate it. I promise I won't keep nagging. Honest style, love it. I love that too. Wendi said she never offered the money to Dan, but we don't know if it's true. That's only her word. I think we'll find out more from Dan's data when Wendi is trying not necessary info for this case. No, but you know what? I think his family would have heard about it because, like, we reviewed some of Ruth's book last night, and it's an amazing book, everyone. Seriously, it's a good read. And it wasn't mentioned in Ruth's book, and he would have said something to his mom. I'm pregnant stuff. And then we got Marie. I like when she tells Georgia the state is not going to arrest her. I know, right? It's incredible. Okay, we'll get back to it. Sorry, guys.
Let's go through your resume. You went to Brandeis University, right?
See, sorry.
You graduated magna cum laude.
I did.
If you could explain to the jury what that means.
It means I studied a lot and got good grades.
All right. It means, and to speak, I'm from the Northeast. My Boston accent may give it away. It means you're wicked smart, right?
That's very
You had a
nice.
high
Thank you.
GPA, a very high
so.
GPA.
I work hard.
You also went and you got a
Welcome.
master's degree from the University of Cambridge.
I did.
You were a Gates Scholar.
I was.
You then go to the University of Miami School of Law, which is a top tier law school, tier 1, right?
Okay.
Right? We're talking about your level of intelligence. You went to the University of Miami Law School, right?
I did, yes.
You also clerked at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, right?
I did.
Now, to get a clerkship out of law school, it's a very difficult thing to do, right?
It's challenging.
You have to have top grades. You have to go through a rigorous selection process,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
You then become a professor at the
Absolutely.
Florida State University College of Law, right?
Yes.
You're also a published author.
Now you're just embarrassed.
Now you're just embarrassing me.
Why
Oh.
are you embarrassed that you're a published author?
I don't like talking about myself.
Is it
Oh,
because the
shit.
book that you wrote
Sorry,
discredited
everyone.
Tallahassee and spoke ill of it?
The book did not discredit Tallahassee. It wasn't about Tallahassee.
Let's stay on topic and ask a question again with everything that we just went through. You're a smart woman, right?
I am a smart woman.
There's information about this case
Yep.
everywhere. You'd agree with me on that, right?
I've been advised by my lawyer not to read it.
All right. Now, we're not talking about reading stuff. There's podcasts,
Also not to listen.
TV shows,
Also not to watch.
articles.
Don't read.
And so you've made the decision. Now, you're a lawyer yourself too, right?
I am.
And you made the decision. I'm not going to look at any of this stuff.
Correct.
I don't want to know what happened to the father of my two children.
Not I don't want to know what happened.
Exactly.
How can you say you love those boys if you don't care who killed the father that they loved?
Of course I care who killed the father that they loved.
Then why won't you look at the stuff?
I've been advised not to.
Are you afraid that when you look at it, you're going to realize that your brother did this?
I am not afraid of that.
Now, of course, you've, and we won't get into privileged communications, but you've spoken to your lawyer about the case.
How are we not getting into privileged communications? Yes, I've spoken to my lawyer about the case.
You're very intelligent. You have one of the top defense attorneys in the country, former federal prosecutor, John Lohr, right there in the blue suit, right?
Did you guys see that? Do we think she was looking at over at John Laurel, or was she looking at Georgia to see if Georgia was going to do something? Georgia's loving this. She's absolutely loving his go at her.
He is my attorney.
You're telling me all of this at your disposal, your intelligence, his experience, and all this information, that you don't care to find out who it is that
Not
killed
good enough
Professor
for
Markel?
This is not that I don't care to find out. My job is to take care of those boys, and that is what I do. I don't see how it helps
No,
take
mommy
care
and
of
daddy
them to
did
go
it, honey.
reading and watching and soaking up all of the horrible information that's out there.
You don't realize that you could be helpful in finally untangling this to give this jury the
Yep.
truth about what happened to Professor Markel,
I have been nothing but helpful since this started.
to what happened to their son?
Seriously.
By you looking at it, you are at the center of all this, but you won't look at anything to help in the process.
I've done nothing but help in this process.
You came here and testified.
I came here and testified. I
You
spoke to
had
the
to be-
police for 6 hours without anyone present. I signed over my cell phone, my car, my house, everything, my computer. What else do I have or know that you haven't seen?
You came
The
here because
Holocaust
you were
ring,
subpoenaed and
bitch.
had no choice,
Correct.
right?
This is not fun. I
You've
would
been-
not do this by choice.
You've been inconvenienced.
I've not been
Sorry, guys.
inconvenienced.
Professor Markel was shot in the head.
I'm not complaining about being here. This is my duty. I'm here.
We'll get back to you complaining about being here. Do you honestly expect this jury to believe that you haven't confronted
Exactly.
your brother about
Welcome.
all of this?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you did confront him,
Yes, I do expect them to believe that I did not confront my brother because I didn't.
or maybe you don't need to because you know the
I'm
truth in this
sticking.
case. You already know it. That he went behind your back, right?
Did not happen.
Just like he has done with past boyfriends. He's done that in the past where he's gone
Yeah.
behind your back when you were having problems in a relationship and dealt with it himself.
No.
Ms. Adelson, you understand that until you expose your brother what he did, that everybody's going to consider you as guilty. You understand
He
that,
is
right?
guilty.
What is the question that you're asking me?
You understand that until you expose your brother and explain what he did, that he went behind everybody's back, that he hired a hitman to murder your ex-husband, you'll remain guilty in the eyes of the world.
Mhm, me too.
I can't speak to the eyes of the world. I can only know that I have done nothing wrong.
Or maybe you are guilty.
I'm
I am not guilty.
So
You are guilty.
a witness in this case, and I'm not going to get into their testimony, but one of the hitmen, the convicted hitman, implicates you. On July 17, 2014, the day before the murder, the morning before,
From the
he says
Cole
that you were
family.
walking on Trescott with the two boys, that you walked down the driveway and into the house.
That never happened.
Right, because Professor Markel, I apologize, Professor Markel, he had the kids. Based on the way that your guy's schedule was, on that day, he would have had the children in the morning, and you're going through such a bad divorce, you wouldn't be at his house, right?
I wouldn't be at his house anyway, but not because we were going through a bad divorce. At that time, things were pretty copacetic.
All right, so
So the name, the unveiling, in Jewish, in the Jewish religion, I know I'm saying this wrong, please don't come at me. When they have a gravestone, when they go to the graveyard, it's covered. So that's what the unveiling is. So it's her way of saying the unveiling of the gravestone and the unveiling of her pain. So that's what the unveiling means. It's right in the very first bit of the book, she explains the name of the title, and it's quite interesting. But I just wanted to stop it there because that is what it means, the unveiling. And Ruth puts, as we went through some of the stuff last night, Ruth puts a lot of Wendy's dirty laundry in that book. A lot of it. Exactly, Marie. She did do that. George is going to go after her. Like she's going after her. You're welcome. Wendi is so annoying. Hugh, she drives me nuts. And we got... Oh, 100%. It's much deeper. Absolutely. Hi, Irene. Welcome back. Talk to me like this, attorney. I would have. Yeah. Wendi, she doesn't care. The Jewish faith has a burial ritual that most of us don't have. Yep. Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to it. Sorry, guys. I just had to answer that.
we're coming back to maybe you do know, or maybe you were involved.
Excuse me? What's the question that you're asking me?
I'm giving you a header of what we're talking about so that it will ease you in the question. Okay, I'm just telling you what the topic that we're on, so we'll get to a question. Now, the government asked you about a time that you met Miss Magbanua. It was actually spring break of March 2014, right?
I believe so.
You went down to Miami. You stayed with your brother, Charles.
I went down to Fort Lauderdale after being in Immokalee and stayed with my brother.
You then went to Miami Beach to Yardbird and had dinner outside with your boyfriend at the time, or who you were dating, Jeffrey Lacasse. Catherine McBanwell was there.
Exactly, Matt.
And your brother, Charles Adelson, and you all ate outside, right?
We did.
And that's on Miami Beach, not in Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
Now, just for context, Jeffrey Lacasse, he was also an FSU professor, not at the law school, but an FSU professor. Nice guy, right?
I don't think so now.
No, because he told you dirty shit.
You deny, I'm assuming, that on July 13, 2014, you told Jeffrey Lacasse that Charles looked into hiring a hitman. You deny that, or you admit that?
I deny that.
And that you told him that Charles looked into hiring a hitman
back
in September of 2013.
That never happened.
Which would have been months before your brother even met Catherine McBanwell.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they met.
Letting you know the topic we're on, we're talking about you being involved. That same week, earlier in the week, you sent an email. We're talking about the week of the murder now, not spring break, the week of the murder, not Yardbird, the week of the murder.
Lorena Bobbitt,
You
everybody
sent an
know.
email to Jeffrey Lacasse saying that you wanted to break up, that you needed space, right?
I did.
Sent him a long email, stay away, we're broken up, right?
I did.
You knew that on July 18, 2014, Jeffrey Lacasse was leaving town to go on a trip, right?
I knew he was leaving at some point that week. I don't remember when.
You knew that he was leaving on the same day of the murder at the same exact time as the murder.
I don't think I did.
11 a.m. on July 18, 2014.
I don't think I knew when he was leaving town.
Is she serious? That's not something somebody would make up. Oh, by the way, we went to yoga. It was uncomfortable. I started to walk away like, okay, it's done. And she calls me back and asks me when I'm leaving town. That's not something somebody would think up in their head to say. I can't wait for her to be on trial and Jeffrey get to take that stand. I can't wait for that moment. Can you imagine the daggers that's going to be coming out of her eyes? Jeffrey will have his redemption moment. I can't wait for it. Yeah, she did. She played that one good. Like her and her flying monkey Jane. Yeah, everybody. Can you imagine though how I like I said, if she goes on trial, I'm going to be in Tallahassee. I want to witness that moment where Jeffrey gets to hold her feet to the friggin' fire.
It's a good way to put the blame onto somebody else. You'd agree on that, right? If it happened, it would have been a good way to put the blame on somebody else.
I have no idea when he was going to leave town.
Oh, it'd be
Your interview, July 18, 2014, you said, my brother, he joked about hiring a hitman. Perhaps that was you just planting a seed to divert the attention of law enforcement away from you.
It was not.
It was so.
Let's jump off topic right now and talk about your boys' names. That in the time after the murder, you changed their last names from Markel to Adelson, right?
A year later, yes.
She is
Why?
a horrible
I was
human.
scared
Of what?
of someone coming to attack them.
So it's a year later, you won't look at anything because you don't want to know what's going on in the case. And the thought is, well, they're going to be protected if they have my last name and not Markel, right?
Yes.
Now, years later, arrests are made. It's clear who committed the murder, Sigfredo Garcia, Luis Rivera. The Adelson name has been dragged through the mud. Why haven't you continued to protect your boys and changed the name back?
I will be changing I'm not going to change the name back. I don't think that will help. One day I'll change all of our names.
The government asked you about immunity, so let's get into that.
I'll be the judge. I was thinking the same thing about that. That Lewis did see her because that alarm was triggered. And they reached out to Dan and he canceled it. So he wouldn't have canceled it if he didn't know something. I honestly do think he saw her there. 100%. I've been in Tallahassee in the mid-1990s. Nice town, very political for obvious reasons. I've heard it's beautiful there. Jane is despicable. Yeah, cackling and laughing while Dan is dying alone in a hospital. Jane is just as bad as Wendi. Yeah, she's Wendy's flying monkey. 100%. I hear Dr. Jeff is in Vancouver with a young family. I wonder if he'll to Florida for this. I haven't heard that. I heard he's still in Tallahassee. Actually, I don't know who it was. One of the people that go on the channels that lives in Tallahassee is friends with him. So I haven't heard that he's moved. She's wise listening to us. In Germany, you have saying the good will always win. Let's hope. Brian, that's a good one. Welcome. Now it's time to change back to Markel. Absolutely. Light is stronger than dark. Georgia's going to change her name to a number. Let's hope so. No one kills someone else, baby daddy, without their permission, especially if you're our sister. Exactly. She's the one that set this all up in motion. Again, this is all just my opinion, my observation from what I've been seeing. And if any of you have a different opinion, we welcome opinions here. So the alarm was just an alibi to be by the house. Yeah. But I honestly think that alarm, I think she accidentally set it off. I'll be the judge. You just nailed it. Yeah. I also think Wendi was supposed to find Dan's body, and that's why she went to the scene that day. Absolutely. I've always wondered, and I've said, was Mr. Geiger and his wife usually doing something in the morning? Because she would have known, right? She would have known they might have hear it. I 100% believe she wanted to be the one to find him so she could see her handiwork. That's what I think. Population tally is about 200K. Small city, probably nice since capital and university. Yeah, I think it would probably be very nice. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch up on this. Why on the stand, her head tilting, her mouth gapes open. I think that's just, and it's funny how when she's getting really upset with Chris, she starts batting her eyes. Like, that's going to help you. You phony. Oh, I don't want to say what I wanted to say. Yep. Her number would start with 666. Absolutely. Wendi started it, then let her family take a fall. Yeah. She was too quick to throw them under the bus. All of them. Even when she talked to her mom, she's like, well, I'm so glad she was surprised. So you're implying you thought she wouldn't be surprised? Come on. She is the real maestro. Absolutely, Matt. I watched the trial of Charlie and I always get the feeling that he is in. Oh, he definitely, they're all in on it. Absolutely. Everyone hit that like button if you haven't. See why I told you, not me this time. Please, guys, it really helps this small channel out. Okay, who do we got here? Hi, welcome. I've been saying this all along. I think she was supposed to find him so that she could frame Jeff. I think so. Well, and I'm not too, yes, framing Jeff, absolutely. But my opinion, I don't think Charlie wanted her to go by. I think she wanted to go by because she wanted to make sure he was gone and she wanted to see her handiwork. She's going for a lot. Mr. Geiger put a wrench in her plan and she got caught on crime scene. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if she found him and tried to save him, why was she there in the first place? Well, because he sent her that text message that they were supposed to meet up later that day. So that, I guarantee, is going to be part of her excuse of why she went that way. Once she can't keep going, well, I went down, I saw some tape, and then I couldn't go, so I just decided to do the K turn. Once she can't get away with this anymore, she's going to say, yeah, I was thinking I was going to meet up with Danny before I went to the liquor store. Like, she's got to backpedal that, because every time she said it, it's a different story. So she's got to do something. Like, I'm just trying to catch up on these. Sorry, Netflix going to need more than one season for this drama. Really? I know, because you've got so many players. She's just the worst of the worst. He was so wanting to please. Listen, he couldn't live up to his older brothers. He couldn't live up to his older brother. His younger sister is smarter than him. He's the middle child that was trying to be the everything to his parents. Did you guys hear this? Did you guys hear about the dean of the periodontics school, or the professor at the periodontics school, how Charlie wasn't doing his work and all this stuff? And then, but he was Harvey's friend. Charlie accused him of assaulting him. And they were at a party years later, and Harvey balled up to this guy and was going to fight him right then and there, and said, "Nobody hurts my kids." It opened my eyes more about Mr. Harvey today. Let's see if those numbers go up a few hundred more by tomorrow. This is a good group of people. Isn't that something? I want to thank all of you. I woke up this morning and I was at 600 and something, and now I believe I'm at 7 something. Greatly appreciated. Oh, so diabolical to find him and then frame her boy. Yeah. It's horrible. Theory makes more sense than extortion on layaway. Yeah. Extortion on layaway. Like, how many people have said out there, if he would have went in with the defense, yeah, I sent this guy up to beat Markel up because he's being abusive to my sister. None of it's true. But if he said that, he would have had at least a better defense than, you know what? I found a hitman at Kmart, and I went to the service desk and I asked if they could give me a layaway plan on my hitman. Come on. Does make sense to frame Jeff. Someone has to have, yeah. It doesn't. And these two guys had no attachment to Tallahassee at all. Like, I'm just going to jump back in it, guys, here.
You explained that as an attorney, you understand that when the government gives a subpoena for somebody to testify, that it conveys immunity, right?
That's my understanding. My knowledge of criminal law dates back to 2003 when I took a semester in law school. So forgive me.
Graduated law school, right?
This isn't my area of law.
When you clerked on the 11th Circuit, it was with Judge Jordan, right?
I did immigration appeals.
Yeah, but you still dealt with criminal stuff as well.
Very little.
So your understanding, though, is it doesn't mean they can't arrest you. They just can't use what you say here against you later on. So you're protected.
Correct.
And you needed that to testify, right?
It's just given to testify. It's not a question of whether I needed it. It comes with
Absolutely,
testifying.
Irene.
You fear being charged by them. So you need to have that protection of
I
your
don't
words.
fear being charged for a crime I didn't commit. No.
Now, y'all had this nice exchange where it was pleasant, but there's actually tension between you and this office, right?
No,
They recently had your brother, Charles Adelson, arrested, and he's in custody, right?
correct,
For first-degree murder.
correct.
And there's no tension?
It's okay.
It's very uncomfortable to be here. It's hard to tell where the tension is coming from.
They've discussed your involvement in this case.
Ooh.
They insinuated it on the direct examination. There's no tension?
Lots of media insinuates that I did something I didn't do too. I can't feel tension towards every person in the world.
That's funny. I thought you didn't look at anything.
I don't, that's why.
But you know that you know about the media, but you don't know about the media?
I know about the media because it keeps me from employment. It keeps me from lots of things in my life. I'm aware of what's there, but I don't read the minutia so I can sleep at night.
Ms. Adelson, 5 minutes ago, you said you don't look at any of that stuff.
I
Now I
don't
ask you a
look at
question.
it.
Let me finish.
Sure.
5 minutes ago, you say you don't look at any of that stuff. Now I ask you a question, you say you look at stuff.
That's not actually what I said. I said I'm aware that it exists, but I don't read it. I don't listen to it.
Then how do you know that they're bashing you?
You just told me they are.
No, we
did.
didn't.
Yeah.
How about this? We'll come back to it. You can think up a better answer, okay?
I'm not thinking up an answer. I'm telling you the truth. I'm sorry if you don't want to listen to it.
Your basic understanding of criminal law, though, you know that if the defense gives you a subpoena, you get no immunity.
Correct.
Correction, improper question.
I'm not going beyond that question.
All right, that's the only question you can ask on that.
If I give you a
I'm going to turn it back because I keep thinking, what is Georgia holding back that she doesn't want asked there?
I'm assuming that on July 13, 2014, you told Jeffrey Lacasse that Charles looked into hiring a hitman. You deny that or you admit that?
I deny that.
And that you told him that Charles looked into hiring a hitman back in September of 2013,
That never happened.
which would have been months before your brother even met Catherine McBannel.
I don't remember when they met.
Letting you know the topic we're on, we're talking about you being involved. That same week, earlier in the week, you sent an email. We're talking about the week of the murder now, not spring break, the week of the murder, not Yardbird, the week of the murder. You sent an email to Jeffrey Lacasse saying that you wanted to break up, that you needed space, right?
I did.
Sent him a long email, stay away, we're broken up, right?
I did.
You knew that on July 18, 2014, Jeffrey Lacasse was leaving town to go on a trip, right?
I knew he was leaving at some point that week. I don't remember when.
You knew that he was leaving on the same day of the murder at the same exact time as the murder,
I don't think I did.
11 a.m. on July 18, 2014.
I don't think I knew when he was leaving town.
It's a good way to put the blame onto somebody else. You'd agree on that, right?
I-
If it happened, it would have been a good way to put the blame on somebody else.
I have no idea when he was going to leave town.
Your interview, July 18, 2014, you said, my brother, he joked about hiring a hitman. Perhaps that was you just planting a seed to divert the attention of law enforcement away from you.
It was not.
Let's jump off topic right now and talk about your boys' names. That in the time after the murder, you changed their last names from Markel to Adelson, right?
A year later, yes.
Why?
I was scared
Of what?
of someone coming to attack them.
So it's a year later, you won't look at anything because you don't want to know what's going on in the case. And the thought is, well, they're going to be protected if they have my last name and not Markel, right?
Yes.
Now, years later, arrests are made. It's clear who committed the murder, Sigfredo Garcia, Luis Rivera. The Adelson name has been dragged through the mud. Why haven't you continued to protect your boys and changed the name back?
I will be changing. I'm not going to change the name back. I don't think that will help. One day I'll change all of our names.
The government asked you about immunity, so let's get into that. You explained that as an attorney, you understand that when the government gives a subpoena for somebody to testify, that it conveys immunity, right?
That's my understanding. My knowledge of criminal law dates back to 2003 when I took a semester in law school. So forgive me.
Graduated
isn't-
law school, right?
This isn't my area of law.
When you clerked on the 11th Circuit, it was with Judge Jordan, right?
I did immigration appeals,
Yeah, but you still dealt with criminal stuff as well, too.
very little.
So your understanding, though, is it doesn't mean they can't arrest you. They just can't use what you say here against you later on. So you're protected.
Correct.
And you needed that to testify, right?
It's just given to testify. It's not a question of whether I needed it. It comes with testifying.
You fear being charged by them. So you need to have that protection of
I
your
don't
words.
fear being charged for a crime I didn't commit. No.
Now, y'all had this nice exchange where it was pleasant, but there's actually tension between you and this office, right?
No.
They recently had your brother, Charles Adelson, arrested, and he's in custody, right?
Correct.
For first-degree murder.
Correct.
And there's no tension?
It's very uncomfortable to be here. It's hard to tell where the tension is coming from.
They've discussed your involvement in this case. They insinuated it on the direct examination. There's no tension?
Lots of media insinuates that I did something I didn't do too. I can't feel tension towards every person in the world.
That's funny. I thought you didn't look at anything.
I don't. That's why.
But you know that you know about the media, but you don't know about the media?
I know about the media because it keeps me from employment. It keeps me from lots of things in my life. I'm aware of what's there, but I don't read the minutia so I can sleep at night.
Ms. Adelson, 5 minutes ago, you said you don't look at any of that stuff.
I
Now I
don't
ask you a
look at
question.
it.
Let me finish.
Sure.
5 minutes ago, you say you don't look at any of that stuff. Now I ask you a question, you say you look at stuff.
That's not actually what I said. I said I'm aware that it exists, but I don't read it. I don't listen to it.
Then how do you know that they're bashing you?
You just told me they are.
I did?
Yeah.
How about this? We'll come back to it. You can think up a better answer, okay?
I'm not thinking up an answer. I'm telling you the truth. I'm sorry if you don't want to listen to it.
Your basic understanding of criminal law, though, you know that if the defense gives you a subpoena, you get no immunity.
Correct.
Correction, improper question.
I'm not going beyond.
Only once, guys. Only once. Only once. Thank you. I seen Irene's bells. I was like, oh, I did it. I can't wait for Georgia to wipe that smirk right off her face. And if Georgia doesn't want to, she can call me, and I will be glad to do it. I think everybody can hear me now. That's your one free pass. Yes, no more. Sorry about that, guys. I'm mic, I tell you, I touch it in the wrong spot and it mutes. Horrible. But thank you for yelling at me. Yes, I agree. She is one of the best I've seen since watching crime shows. I will. I'll worry. I'll go in and wipe that smirk off. I'll gladly do it. I'll be the judge. Yes, George is using her wording with caution. One pronoun or word slip can, yeah. Like, she's very careful. When I first started watching the trials and I was thinking, why aren't they going after her? And then I started to clue in. Every time Georgia asks something and she lies, she moves on to something else. But she did clap back in Charlie's. Yeah. Georgia could sell admissions tickets for that. Let Miss Turnpike here be the sideshow and we all go in and wipe the smirk off her face. I'm going plan my days around Donna's trial and for sure Wendy's. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, calling him. I would do it for her. Why she wouldn't change the boys' names back is telling. The Adelson name is trash and her kids are clearly not in danger, but she still won't let the boys know. And I'm hoping someday those boys claim their name. And I think they will. I think they will. Like, she hates Chris. She hates him. I think they cannot use anything she says against her under immunity deal. So maybe that's why the lawyer is withholding more questions. Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see what Georgia's got on her. And everybody says, oh, she should just go for her now. I think Wendi is Georgia's prize. She's did all the hard work, got all the other piece of garbages behind bars, and Georgia's cherry on the top is Turnpike Wendi here. Not to put you in a gotcha moment like many other attorneys. She gets you on the record. Yeah, Georgia's amazing. Absolutely amazing. She's got to be. So rumor has it that she's in Austin now. She dyed her hair dark again. Maybe she got rid of the blue contacts. Who knows? But she's dating a billionaire, something like that. He's got a bunch of property actually very close to Tallahassee. I'm going to retire in September, then go back to work in October. Immunity doesn't work if she's committed perjury. And I think that's why Georgia stops, right? Because Tim Jansen had stated that, it's very rare that a perjury case, but it might happen with her. Oh, yeah, Georgia's keeping track for sure. I'm glad you're using the Turnpike Wendi catchphrase. It stuck because it makes sense because, well, y'all know what I think about her. We'll get back to it. Sorry, guys.
On that question.
All right, that's the only question you can ask on that.
If I give you a subpoena, you don't get immunity, right?
Correct.
Let's talk about your parents. The government asked you about your mother and
Yep.
father, Donna and Harvey, right? The government could do the same and subpoena them so that this jury can watch them get questioned, not nicely how Ms. Kappelman questioned you, but to be cross-examined by me.
Objection, improper question.
I'm going to sustain that. Ask a different question.
Are your parents here in Tallahassee right now?
No.
Are they back in Miami?
Yes.
Do they have any plans of coming here this week or next?
I don't think so.
No. Your family dynamic. It is your mother and father, Harvey and Donna. There's you, you're the youngest, Charles, and then the oldest, Robert. Right?
Correct.
And he's a doctor up in New York.
Correct.
Now, the government asked you about the relationship, and you're like, we don't talk much. It's actually much deeper than that with Robert, isn't it?
We don't talk
At all.
at all.
And the reason is because your parents were so difficult about the woman that is now his wife.
That is not the reason why we don't talk.
I'm not talking about the reason why you don't talk. Let me clarify it. The reason why your parents don't talk to him.
That's not the reason why they don't talk with him.
Are you saying to this jury that there wasn't a problem where they outright objected to his marriage of a woman that was not of the Jewish faith?
Exactly.
That was initially what happened. And then there was actually a beautiful reconciliation and they're very happy about the marriage.
Robert and his wife, not your family.
Robert and his wife and our family were very happy about Robert's marriage.
So what happens is that Robert is in love with a woman. Your parents object. He breaks up with her and then dates a Jewish woman, right?
And then they got married and divorced, and then he got back together with the person he wanted to be married to. Yes.
With his true love.
Yes.
But there was a lot of tension in your family because of your family's involvement in the kid's marriage.
I know why. It was a beautiful reconciliation. I figured it out, guys. I know why. Because Donna baked Haritha banana bread. That is why they had a beautiful reconciliation. Figured it out.
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk briefly about your children. The government had asked you, and then the topic of the Jewish faith, keeping kosher. You mentioned a bat mitzvah at one point in time. You're currently planning a bat mitzvah for your oldest, right?
No, it already happened.
Okay, now that is a very, Christopher, I'm obviously not Jewish, but my understanding is that it is a very, very important thing in the Jewish faith.
My name's
It's a
Christopher.
very important milestone.
And for
Obviously
those
not
that are
Jewish.
very conservative in the Jewish faith, those that keep kosher, so to speak, it's even bigger.
I don't know that it's more important to one segment of Judaism over another, but it's an important coming of age ceremony.
It's where a boy becomes a man. Did you invite Dan Markel's parents, the kid's grandparents?
I did.
You invited them.
I invited them, yes.
When was the last time they saw face-to-face their grandchildren?
April 20th,
Of this year?
just now.
And you agree with me that it had been years since 2016, since the last time they had seen them.
The visit stopped when they threatened to put my children in foster care, yes. But up until that point, they did have visits.
But you got no problem letting them see your brother Charles, right?
I'm sorry?
You have no problem letting them hang out with your brother Charles, who's now sitting in custody for first-degree murder.
Oh, they can't see him now, can they?
No, they can't. But I'll ask the question.
Yes, he
For
is.
years, they weren't able to see their grandchildren despite their pleading to you to see them. But you let them, let me finish, but you let them hang out with your murdering brother, right?
The children were permitted to see their grandparents. I cooked for them. We had play dates.
I made
They had
banana bread.
sleepovers. When a letter surfaced that they were trying to have my children placed in foster care, the visits stopped. My brother never threatened to put my children in foster care, and if he had, the visits would have stopped with him too.
They never
You say you
did.
love your boys.
I do say I love my children.
Don't care about the father.
I
that
love the
love.
money they
I
bring in.
never said that I don't care about the father that they
Then
love.
look at some of the discovery and
Oh, yes,
help
you
figure it
did,
out.
Sweet
Excuse
cheeks.
me?
Then look at some of the evidence and help figure it out so that more lives aren't ruined by this.
I seem to not
Mr.
understand.
DeCoste, you need to ask a question now. You're making statements now. You need to ask a question.
Understood, Your Honor. If I could have one brief second to check with co-counsel.
Hmm.
Ms. Adelson, we started this by saying that
I out and about.
this is all about you. It started with you because of this marriage, right?
Oh, slipping.
No. Well, you had tried to say that, but I don't agree.
Ms. Adelson, I'm going to make one final attempt through questions to implore you. You understand that you can't protect your brother Charles, who's going through this case, and protect yourself at the same time. You understand that, right?
I'm here to share the truth with you. I don't know how to answer the question.
Then please end the madness and share the truth. Will you
I have
please
it
share
too.
the
I'm gonna
truth with this
post it.
jury?
I've been sharing the truth since I walked in here. I've done nothing but share the truth.
You know what happened here, despite your claims to the jury that you haven't looked at anything, you haven't discussed with anybody, and you haven't confronted your brother.
Mhm.
You know what happened here, right?
I do not know what happened here. And if I did, I would have shared it with the police 8 years ago.
You
know
did.
that your brother,
You did share it. You just left out your part.
you know that your brother went behind your back, don't you?
I do not.
Like he always does. This is something that he has always done,
It is
isn't it?
not.
You found out after that your brother had done this and gone behind your back. That's why you were thrown up at that dinner, right?
No, it's not.
You know that it didn't involve Katie either, right?
I don't know anything about.
If you're not going to say all of that and finally give the truth, why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty?
Because I'm not guilty.
One brief moment.
She does, Wyona. You are guilty.
Nothing further.
Redirect.
Adelson, you were asked about the reason why you stopped contact for a period of time between your ex-husband's parents and your children.
Yes.
And you referenced a letter that you characterized as the grandparents threatening to put the children into foster care. Is that an email that was sent from the Markells to my office?
Yes,
Okay. And that was in reference to, in the event that you and the people that care for these children, who at the time were very young, were arrested, that the grandparents wanted to make sure, because they live in Canada, right?
they do.
They wanted to make sure that a specific organization could be contacted to care for the children, so that someone was there to care for them until a relative could get there.
I don't
Right.
remember the bit about a relative getting there.
Okay, well, they weren't just going to leave them in foster care, right?
I don't know.
Okay. But the specific nature of the email, you will agree, was in the event that there's some kind of mass arrest, because they don't know who's getting ready to go to jail next, right? I mean, they're not privy to the investigation any more than you are, right? Law enforcement investigations, they're secret.
Sure.
It makes her
Okay.
look
And their
really
concern,
bad.
would you agree the concern ultimately in the email was for the care of the children?
The concern was to make sure the children were under good care, but as their mother, I know they're always under good care with me,
Right, but
and there's no
the
need for
email
foster care.
contemplated you not being available to care for them.
That's not possible
Because it's not possible for you to get arrested.
Hi,
Correct?
because I've done nothing wrong and I believe in our justice system.
Okay, well, just wanted to clarify the nature of that. In this case, you were asked about, why aren't your parents coming to testify? You, as you mentioned, gave a police interview in this case, right?
Correct.
And consented to the search of your phone, etc. You gave testimony in this case, right?
Yes,
All right, and your parents did not, correct?
they did not give testimony.
They have not testified. They
They've
have
been
not
asked
given a
to come
police.
testify, but they would if they were asked.
Okay, and have they
Mm,
given any police interviews?
They would have, but the police never contacted them.
The police did contact them, didn't they? And they refused.
No,
Are they represented by counsel?
they are represented by counsel.
And they'll come testify if we want them to.
If they are under state subpoena, just like I was, they would come testify.
All right. And do you know what they would testify to?
They would testify to whatever they know.
And do you know what they know?
I have no idea what they know.
Okay. They've never told you.
No,
You've never asked them
no.
because you never had any conversations with them about this murder.
I've been advised by my counsel not to.
All right. So nobody, including your brother Charlie, has admitted or denied to you any involvement in the murder one way or the other.
Correct.
Same with your parents.
Correct.
All right. One
I
moment,
get to
please, Ron.
start.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to go back to this one here. It would be very hard on Rob, guaranteed. But like I've said many times, can you imagine the optics of Donna sitting her ass in that hard wooden chair? And you've got your daughter testifying. You got your convicted son that's coming in with handcuffs and shackles testifying. And then you got your oldest child walking in and testifying. And what he can testify is how mean his parents are when it comes to relationships. But for him, it's got to be heartbreaking. But imagine those optics in front of the jury. It's Daniel Rashbaum is worried about what courtroom he's in because of the optics of the people in the gallery. His big worry should be having all three of her children testifying. Seriously, he's not thinking right. I love this one too. Donna still has explosive diarrhea, but now her toilet is much closer to her bed. Oh. Wendi and Judy Arias. One has a college degree, the other dropped out of high school. Both are murderers, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am new here. Who is the sweet angel on the stand? Oh boy. You're silly. And I think this is it for her on this one.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank
You
you.
want her subject to recall?
No, sir. She's free to go about her business.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you.
Ugh, that woman drives me up the wall. That now we'll finish off Wendi because why not? This one makes me mad because she literally, I believe this is the one where she literally sat in front of the Markells. Oh, that's hilarious. That is a good one. George is not going to take any chances of letting her flee. I don't think she really needs Wendi for Donna's trial. No, she's subpoenaed for Donna's trial. She will be at Donna's trial. But I guarantee the FBI got eyes on her like a hawk right now, especially if she went to Austin. Yeah, Robert is like, how he managed to survive this family, I don't know. She gave him the eyes, absolutely. But there's so much financials are coming in. Katie's lawyers coming in. Sigfredo's first lawyers coming in. Like they're tracing the money when it comes to Donna. They're going after her big time. Okay, so we will jump into Charlie's trial for Wendi. She can't just hop on her room. She's going to show up because playing a Latin and name Wendi. Oh my God, that's funny. I knew you meant broom, but I wanted to point out your spell check. Yeah, so I went over it why. If you go to Crime and Coffee's main page and where it says welcome Crime and Coffee crew, and it's got a thing that says more, if you click on that and scroll down all the way down, it's going to have a tab that says show email. If you click on that, that's where you'll see the email. Robert's the black sheep of the family. Oh, absolutely. And guess what? I would be very happy to be the black sheep of that family. 100%. You're welcome. Why? And I took it off of the other one anyway. So I have you down there. You might be wondering why Y's asking. Most of you in here already know. If you go to my email and you're subscribed and you give me your email when I stream Donna's trial live, I'm inviting some of my subscribers to come on the live with me. You don't have to be on your camera if you don't wish. Just need a mic, and it's going to be the coffee crew streaming live the Donna trial. Spell check and me needed to Hefner spell check and the naming. If Wendi is dating Rich, hopefully she'll not be able to skip out by jumping. She would be able to jump out by a charter because I believe he has his own. Oh yeah, because he does have his own plane because it's called Million Air. That's what his plane's called. It cracks me up that everybody's so sure Robert is normal. Why should he be so normal in such a dysfunctional family? It doesn't make sense. It does. He got away. He got out of that family. He didn't let them, he let his mom and dad control him until he lost Haritha. When he lost her and remarried the Jewish woman, that's when he realized, I can't let my family control me no more. And he got away from them. Don't invite Bubba. Oh, dear Lord. State pay for Wendy's flight. I think they do. Because any of their other witnesses they do, right? Like June and Chinda. Oh my God, there's another one. Yeah, it's going to be great. Hugh, can you see the email for her channel on the About page? It's not on the About page. Hold on, I'll bring it up again and I'll show you. Let me get back to StreamYard. Hold on. I'm just going to stop sharing this screen for a minute and I'll share the other one. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Okay. I'll undo this for a minute. So if you go to my homepage, the Crime and Coffee page, you got the logo here, which is in the works to be changed. But you see where it's got the handle here. And then how many? Oh, we're at 757, everyone. And then you're going to see where it says, Welcome Crime and Coffee Crew. Right there is going to be where a more. You click on more. And you scroll down. And it's going to say, check channel details. And then you're going to see where it says, view email address. You click on that and it shows the email. The email's very easy. Crime and Coffee 1976 gmail.com. But that's where you find it. Did that help? Why? Yeah, it's right where it says, Welcome Crime and Coffee Crew. You don't see that more? Because that takes you... It just takes you to my About page. And then you scroll down to the channel details. Okay, good. We'll go back to Miss Wendi Turnpike Wendi here. And remember at the beginning of this one, in one of his jail calls, he talks about how he was flirting with his sister. Blech.
I just wanted to have a recess to see if we can do anything about the feedback that's happening in court.
That's a good idea. We'll take about a 10-minute break and resume at 3:10.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
can we invoke the rule at this point in time?
That's fine.
Thank you.
The rule of sequestration is going to be invoked, I believe, except for investigation.
Sorry, I thought I had it. Look at this. How dare her sit in front of them? How dare her do that? Why would you sit there? Why wouldn't you sit behind them at least? Ugh. Evil woman. You're welcome.
All rise. Court is back in session.
Everyone can be seated. Mike, are we good on the microphones? Okay. All right.
Absolutely. Be right back, guys. Sorry about that, everyone. I have a challenge for you. Do you think you guys could help me break 800 subscribers? That would be amazing. And yes, Hugh, she does. You know what? We should invent that award for her. And when I go to Tallahassee for her trial, I'll present it to one of her flying monkeys to keep good for her. It's funny watching Daniel be all friendly and meek went up to Georgia, because she did that interview and she really don't like him. While we're waiting for the jury, guys, if you want to hit that like and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Let's try to forward through. Got a different outfit on this time.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? You may be seated.
Ma'am, please say and spell your name.
Wendi Adelson, Wendiadelson.
Where are you from, Ms. Adelson?
I'm originally from Coral Springs, Florida.
And where do you live now?
I currently live in Miami.
How are you employed?
Now kind of part-time. I do asylum work, and I fundraise for nonprofit organizations.
Are you an attorney?
By training, yes.
Okay. How long have you been a member of the Florida Bar?
Since I graduated and took the bar in 2006.
And are you here today pursuant to a subpoena?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that subpoena confers use and derivative use immunity to you, so nothing you say could be used against you in the future.
Probably.
That is correct.
That doesn't mean you have
Welcome,
full
Fred.
immunity from prosecution, but nothing you say here and nothing derived from it could be used in that prosecution. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
Did you know Daniel Markel?
Yes.
How did you know him?
We were married.
When did you meet Mr. Markel?
We met in the fall of my second year of law school, so fall of 2004.
And where did you meet?
We met in Washington,
The
D.C.
stress.
He was working there, and I was looking into a summer job in Washington.
When did you get married?
In February of 2006.
And when did you live here in Tallahassee?
We lived in Tallahassee my third year of law school, so from August of 2005 until I think around maybe May or June of 2006. And then we moved to Miami for a year because Danny was interested in working at the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He did not get the job at University of Miami, and so we moved back here in 2007 and lived here until 2014.
And where were
And why is that, Wendy? Why is it that Danny didn't take that job? It's not that they didn't want him to have the job. They wanted him. They didn't want your ass. He tried to get her on as a spousal hire, and they didn't want her. So that's why they went back to Tallahassee, because Tallahassee, FSU, was going to hire her as a spousal hire. She makes it sound like he wouldn't have went down there for this job if they weren't offering it to him. Like, come on, this girl, she's demeans the man. You had him killed, and now you're just trying to make him sound like he's a bad. Well, they wouldn't hire him. Every chance she gets, she does it. Every chance. Charlie's morphing into Beetlejuice. No, because she was clerking. She did get a clerk in Washington. She was doing that. That's when she started looking for on JDate. Yeah. He is stressed out with her being there. Imagine Donna with all three of them.
were the two of you employed during the time you lived here in Tallahassee?
I was employed at the FSU Center for Human Rights, and Danny was employed at FSU Law School.
Were you both professors at FSU College of Law?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
were you living on Trescott Drive at that time?
When we were married, we lived, I think we rented a house before that, but at some point, maybe in 2008, we moved to Trescott Drive.
And is that the home that he was still living in at the time that he was killed?
That is correct.
Okay, and you were no longer living there, is that correct?
I was no longer living there.
All right, at the time he was killed, you two had children together, yes?
Yes.
And how many children did you have?
We have 2 children.
And what are their ages now?
They are 13 and 14.
What about at the time of their dad's death?
At the time of their dad's death, they were 4 and 3.
She had to think about
When
that.
did you separate from Professor Markel?
In the fall of 2012.
Whose decision was it to separate?
It was my decision.
And was part of the reason for the separation the two of you having differing views on how to raise your kids as far as within the Jewish faith?
I mean, it was a small part, but it was part of it.
Okay, that seemed to be something that came up a lot in your communication, so that's why I ask about it. What was the difference of opinion on that?
I mean, when we first met and started dating, Danny wasn't as observant or as religious as he became over time. And so the difference in our perspective on raising kids was about dietary choices and attendance at synagogue, things like that.
So in general, he wanted to raise the children more strictly in terms of the faith than you.
That is correct.
Oh no!
Did
The hot tub?
you move out of the marital home while Mr. Markel was away on a business trip?
I did, yes.
Right. And did he know that you were moving out when he left for the business trip?
No, he did not.
Where did you go when you left the marital
It's a
home?
good one.
I rented a home in Tallahassee.
Where was that? Do you remember the address?
Aqua Ridge Way?
3303 sound right?
That's right.
Okay. And what was the custody arrangement once you moved out of the marital home?
I mean, in the beginning, until we had a formal custody arrangement, we were just finding ways to share custody. I remember that first weekend his parents came, so I made sure he had the children all weekend while his parents were visiting from Canada. But eventually we had a 50-50 shared custody arrangement.
All right. And do you remember exactly what that looked like? Was it week on, week off, or something more complicated?
It was something more complicated. In the summertime, it was week on, week off. During the weeks, it was I think what they called like a 2-2 split, with Wednesday night being an overnight and then the weekends being every other weekend.
All right. But roughly 50-50.
50-50, but that was the split.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been introduced into evidence, State's Exhibit 56. I know you've had a chance to take a look at this before, but if you'll just kind of thumb through it and tell me if you recognize it.
Sure.
Watch Charlie's face here when they go back to him. He starts smirking over this divorce binder. Now wipe it off, Charlie.
Do you recognize the exhibit?
I do.
Is it a fair and accurate
Why?
copy of your divorce file?
It looks like it, yes.
All right. And is it fair to say this was a contentious litigation process that you had with your ex?
It was.
And I want to ask you about a specific filing in there. It's on begins on page 43. And it's in reference to a filing on January 14th of 2013, where you were looking to relocate with the minor children.
I can't wait.
Do you recall that particular filing?
I recall the filing. You said 43. I'm not sure oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. On the bottom, there should be page numbers for you.
Yes. Yes, I recognize it.
Okay, and that's the filing in reference to your motion for relocation?
Yes.
Okay, and did you file this motion with the intent to not be successful?
I'm sorry, I don't
It's
understand
been
the question.
suggested that you
I don't
never
understand
thought
the
that was going to be
question.
successful. Did you?
I
Or
think
not?
I thought there was a small chance that it would be successful, but not very likely, no.
Okay. And weren't you thinking, well, maybe Danny would be happy working somewhere else because he's mentioned applying elsewhere, so maybe he'll allow the relocation? Were you
Well,
thinking
he
that?
and I talked about the relocation. So when we talked about it, he thought, well, if I can live nearby in Miami, that might work. And then I could commute to FSU. I didn't mean for him to leave FSU, but he wanted to leave FSU at some point. So that
So
was just a matter of time.
So you thought it might be successful?
Sure. I mean, I thought it was possible, but not likely.
All right. And page 46 of that document,
Sorry, everyone. Get some rest, Deborah. Hope you start feeling better.
Paragraph E references the job offer. The wife also desires to relocate to South Florida in order to.
I actually thought he was smirking because it was taking her so long to look through the divorce binder. That's what I thought he was smirking, like, oh, she's being sassy, she's being clever by doing this, and that's what I thought he was smirking about. I'd like to wipe the smirk off his face too.
Provide a better quality of life for the children by increasing their access to close family and providing more stability and consistency. Who is the close family in South Florida?
The close family would have been my mom and my dad and my brother.
And which brother is that?
My brother that's here today.
Charlie Adelson?
That's correct.
Okay. What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Donna.
Donna Adelson?
Yes, that's her name.
What about your dad?
My dad's name is Harvey.
And
should
where did
remember
Donna
that
and
this
Harvey
time.
live back in the time frame between 2012 and 2016?
They lived at the home I grew up in Coral Springs.
And how far do they live away from you currently as we sit here today?
Currently, depends on Miami traffic, but anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour.
Right. And what kind of a relationship do you have with your parents as we sit here today?
I have a good relationship with my parents.
And has that always been the case?
I would say so.
I would say so.
Can you describe the relationship that your mom has with your boys?
I think it's very loving. I think she's a very dedicated grandmother.
She spends a lot of time with them, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
And when they were little and you first moved there after Danny's death, how much time was she spending with them?
When I moved there after Danny's death in 2014,
How much time was your mom spending with the boys?
I mean, we were all living together at that point. So we
Absolutely.
were spending every day together.
How were your parents employed? Are they retired now?
They're retired now.
What are they retired from?
My dad was a dentist, and my mom used to coordinate, kind of be like an office administrator at his practice.
And did she write the checks at the practice? Paychecks?
Yes. She handled all the bookkeeping.
What was the name of the practice?
The name changed over the years, but probably the name when they retired was the Adelson Institute.
And were your parents wealthy at the time that your husband was murdered?
Yes, she is.
I mean, my parents worked their whole lives to support us, right?
Mhm.
So I think the business did well for a period of time.
About $2 million in profit each year between 2013 and 2016.
They
Sound right?
never talked to me about money, so I have no idea how much the business made at any given point.
Did you discuss your marital problems with your mom at all?
I did, yeah.
Okay. What about the resulting legal issues? Was your mom read in on those things?
I mean, I definitely updated her about the results of the relocation when that petition got denied, but not kind of the ins and outs of every part of our divorce.
What about your dad? Was he invested in your divorce status?
I think the same as my mom, just worried about me and worried about the boys.
Mm-hmm. What about your brother? Did he take an interest in the ins and outs of your divorce?
No, not really.
Did he need to protect you from Dan Markel?
No, I mean, I don't think I need protection.
Were you physically in danger from Dan Markel?
No, I wasn't.
Make
in
a road
danger.
trip of it, Sky.
Did the litigation revolving around the divorce and the subsequent
Mhm.
issues that arose, did that impact your family back in South Florida?
I mean, only to the extent that I think they felt bad for what I was going through, but
I want to show you an exhibit that I've marked as State's Exhibit
Exactly.
59.
She minimizes
57, Your
money.
Honor. I think you've seen this one before as well. Does that one look familiar?
I don't remember it, to be honest. It's from 10 years ago.
Take a moment to look through it.
Sure.
You don't remember. That should be etched in your brain.
When you're done, I'll let opposing counsel take a look at it, but go ahead and let us know when you're done reviewing it.
Me too. Yeah, I don't think it was because he said it. I think he loved that his mom said it. Absolutely. Oh, she's a nasty witch with a capital B. That one. Oh, absolutely, Jane. Or she'll end up start talking to her hands when she wants to distract from the lie. All of it's coming out. It's in the witness, or it's in the evidence list, financials, Harvey's, Donna's, everything. Adelson Institute, everything is in there. Thank you. Like, subscribe, everyone, please. Once they start knowing what members get, they'll be wanting to come. I need your, oh yeah, you're right. Your email's all messed up. I have your email anyway. You've already sent me an email. Welcome, Young.
Okay.
Oh, Jibs. Oh, I'm not a June Chinda fan. I'm not. I'm just not. I wonder if Charlie has ever experienced anything like the winter. So, that's going to be amazing.
All right, are those emails between you and your mother?
I don't think I responded. I think they're just emails from my mom to me.
You're welcome.
Okay, mostly all from your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, and the email address says
Yes, it is.
something like Wendi Harvey. Can you tell from the content that it's your mom typing rather than your dad?
Yeah, the email's Donna Harvey, my two parents' names.
Nice.
So they've been married over 50 years, so they have a joint email address. So it's from both of them.
Okay, so what I want to draw your attention to is page 2 of that exhibit, that first paragraph there above the word response. Did you have an opportunity to read that?
I read it real fast,
Kind of
but
scanned.
I can read it.
And what I want to draw your attention to is specifically the part that reads, your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing the patient schedules around so he can continue to spend significant time with the children.
Right there.
Did you?
Are you objecting, Mr. Roush?
I just didn't hear it get admitted into evidence.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to move this exhibit into evidence.
Any
Number I've already
objection?
No objection.
It's 57.
57 is admitted. Go ahead.
Thank you. So that paragraph, isn't that paragraph going into detail about how the issues surrounding your divorce and litigation is financially impacting in a negative way your parents' business?
That's what my mom says here. Yes.
Okay. And it also says,
She drove him to.
additionally, this loss of income affects my family because my older brother, also a dentist, purchased the practice from my father in mid-July 2012. He has a monthly payment to make to my father based on the sale of the practice. It isn't fair to him to have decreasing monthly income statements from the practice due to my parents spending so much time here in Tallahassee. So this is an argument that your mom is proposing, right, to help you, give you an idea of what might persuade the courts to allow the relocation. Do you agree with that?
Yes, that's what she was doing. Yes.
Okay, and she's indicating that both your parents as well as your brother have suffered financially as a result of you not being able to relocate.
Yes.
Okay, and on page,
I get the star.
do you have page numbers in the bottom right corner of your exhibit?
I have them in the top so I can see.
Okay, so 5 of Well, let me look. Give me a moment.
Oh, she'll make money off of it because she'll play the victim so badly. She's going down
So it'll
anyway.
be the second email in your packet, page 1 of 3.
Okay,
Do you see that?
I see that page.
Okay, and there's a rest of your life highlighted or underlined in the center and in bold. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, right before that, it reads, however, the rest of your life and consequently dad's.
So I'll stop it there. So I know, I believe it was on STS, they were talking about how much Charlie's trial, just Charlie's trial alone, and I believe it was very close to like $1.2 million from Charlie. So you figure it's going to be about the same for Donna. So there's now like 2.4 million. And then Charlie's appeal was somewhere in the million. So you're already at at least 3.4. You know Donna's going to appeal it. Like, these people can't have endless money. Like, it's got to run out soon. Like, seriously, I don't understand it. Does he do something unkosher style with it? No, Donna makes the best banana bread. It makes people that are really angry at you just right calm. Yeah, she cooks it full of Xanax is what she does. That doesn't even make sense. Grandma every weekend is not a requirement. Yeah, exactly. I believe she's going to be charged. I'd hope she couldn't benefit money for playing victim. I think if she got off and she didn't get charged or any of that happened, she's definitely, there's a book. If she doesn't go away, there's a book. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I can't imagine these people having that much. Well, we'll know in Donna's trial because all their financials are coming out. Yeah, exactly. And that'll be there too. Like, Rashbaum is, how much do you want to bet Rashbaum retires after the Adelson trial? Because honestly, would you want to hire him? Yes, he is. He's a very rich man. Yeah, he's going to come in with his new Gucci suits. Yep. I think Donna and Harvey have hidden money in addition to the amount disclosed. I think so too. I bet you there's money all over. All over. Rumors are they were worth more than $8 million. Dentists don't make that kind of money, even if properties, investments, shady stuff going on. Exactly. So even if we looked at it that way and they say, okay, they're worth $8 million, I think that's combined with Charlie, right? So between the three of them, I think they were worth $8 million. Well, 3.4 of that is already gone. Like, geez, maybe there's no Robert in Harvey and Donna's will. I doubt it. I doubt he's in there. They disowned him, right? Garner's parents, they are many times more wealthy. Yeah.
Mine, and yes, even Charlie's, will be affected by how well you can perform/act before July 31st. You need to be a good actress you can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Jibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. Who's Jibbers?
Jibbers, she's referring to Danny.
And was Jibbers a name he went by or just something you called him behind his back?
Jibbers was a silly nickname that I gave him during the divorce proceedings when he was being pretty scary and threatening, and it kind of made me feel less scared of him.
Okay, so not something you called him to his face.
No.
But that was a word that was only used to describe him.
Yes, it was a nickname.
Okay. So in this Again, your mom is referencing how everyone's life is being affected by this relocation, including your brother, Charlie. Do you agree with that?
She's got it hidden.
That
you
is
bet.
what she said. Yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's, a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
Did she ever try to micromanage your life?
Night, Paul.
Maybe. Yeah.
Did she have an interest in who you were dating and who you weren't dating and who you should be dating when you were
I
single?
think she was usually disappointed that I wasn't dating more.
Okay.
She wanted me on that turnpike more. She really wanted me to earn the turnpike Wendi. What person would say, "Oh, I'm so disappointed my daughter's not out there, sowing her oats"? Come on. Maybe Turnpike Wendi learned from her mother.
For example, isn't it true that she would not let you drive to and from Tallahassee to South Florida?
Well, I used to drive before I had the boys, but they were young and she preferred to come with me and give me some extra support.
So what would that look like if you were going to take a trip to South Florida? Would they come up here and get you, or?
No, sometimes I would go myself with the kids, but I was breastfeeding both of them. So it usually looked like me breastfeeding a child while I entertained the other in the Okahumpka rest stop. So
Okay.
it was a lot. It was helpful to have some backup.
All right. And so that time frame you'd be referencing is like the 2013 time frame? Because not around the time of Danny's death, you wouldn't have still been breastfeeding, would you?
If Lincoln was 3, no, I would have stopped maybe the year before.
Okay.
So
And
maybe
was it
2012, 2013.
Okay. And wasn't it true that around the time of the death, they were still doing this practice where they would prefer to drive you to and from South Florida?
I agree.
I mean, not every time, but sometimes.
Okay. And would your mom sometimes enlist your brother Charlie to convince you to do certain things in your personal life?
Can't really think of an example of that.
Well, dating Dave was a big one on some of the materials I had.
Yeah, people like Dave.
All right. And your mom really liked Dave.
Yeah, everyone liked Dave, but we were just friends.
Okay.
Dave,
Did she try? So she would try to get Charlie to convince you to date a certain person.
I don't think she was getting Charlie to convince me to date
Hi,
Dave.
Lou.
I think everyone liked Dave.
All right. And would she try to get Charlie to convince you to do certain things as far as your professional life? What jobs to take?
No, I don't
She
think
didn't
so.
do that. Would she try to get Charlie to do certain things like advise you on investment decisions, whether or not you were going to buy a house, for example?
I bet you he's happy he's not with this family anymore.
I think so. I don't remember that. Danny and I made that decision together.
Once you had left Dan and you were living separately, did you look into purchasing a home here in Tallahassee?
I did, yeah.
And did your brother Charlie convince you
like
not
Dave.
to do that?
We all like Dave.
I don't remember him convincing me not to. The only reason why I didn't was because I was waiting on the money from Danny from the settlement and he didn't pay it, so I couldn't afford the house.
And your mom didn't want you to buy the house, did she?
That's not true. My parents were looking to buy a house in Tallahassee as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Did you
right.
have strike? Generally speaking, does your mom manipulate the personal lives of her children?
Yep.
No.
Is your mom, like, if she's really upset about something or worked up about something,
Literally.
is that something that your brother Charlie is going to hear a lot about? Who's going to hear more of it, you or Charlie?
I
Well, if
know.
my mom's upset with me, probably Charlie. And if she's upset with Charlie, probably me.
Okay, so do you get a lot of that? Do you hear a lot about, let's go back, let's go to before the murder. Did you get a lot of Donna just giving you an earful about what Charlie needs to be doing?
Probably at some point.
What was Charlie doing with his personal life? What did his personal life look like
At what point?
before the murder?
I mean, at what period of time before?
All of them. Wasn't it just a revolving door of girlfriends?
Right, but my mom didn't complain to me about that.
She didn't mind that with him.
I don't
Well,
understand the
that-
question.
She didn't mind if he went from girl to girl to girl. That was acceptable.
She didn't really weigh in on it. No,
Who talked to her more, you or Charlie?
Charlie.
A lot more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the
had-
time of Dan
Oh,
Markell's murder, were your
Sandra.
parents extremely angry with Dan?
At that point, no. They were in a
Here
much
comes-
better place.
I want to direct your attention to an interview that was conducted on, I think this was your law enforcement interview. So July 18th, 2014. And I'm specifically for court and counsel looking
banana
at
bread.
page 27, lines 11 and 12.
I know you. Last night was ketchup. Tonight banana bread.
You need to familiarize yourself. Sure. And I'll take that exhibit if you want.
Do you want me to flip through or just look at this one page?
If you'll just look at that one page, well, I mean, not that reminder. 27.
Yeah.
Let me get to where you are. So page 27 there, lines 11 and 12, and I've got it highlighted for you. It
Yes, ma'am.
says, Ms. Adelson, you know, my parents are, you know, very angry toward him. Is that true?
Was that
Isn't that
true?
what you said? Your parents were very angry toward Dan.
Can I read the rest of the sentence?
Sure.
So I say, you know, my parents are very angry towards him, but even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father.
Does anybody else think in that interview when she said that it's because that motion was soon going to be heard about her disparaging Dan in front of the kids? I honestly think she threw that in there because of that motion. Oh yeah, she looks rehearsed, more rehearsed than she did for her interview, but she looked rehearsed there too. Wendy took a boatload of money when she left Dan between that, her parents, and her job. Yeah, I think so. I think they allow one visit with no extra frills. that was a good one, Lou. Yeah, I 100% I think she threw that in there. Yeah, that grandma motion is I think because there was two motions that were supposed to be heard around the same time, right? The grandma motion and the one because of her stealing money and having her debarred. I think those two motions set everything in. I think it was already in motion, but it put the speed on it, right? That's what I think. She lied, the kids told on grandma. Yeah.
And then on page 288, line 24 through page 289, line 1. And that's going to be, yeah.
Thank you. Can't wait.
Didn't you say, you know, it's like my parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else? Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
And that's because he hurt you, right?
And I was saying that in the context of talking to law enforcement for hours and hours and trying to help them figure out who might be responsible.
Right. And who did you tell them might be responsible?
Well, I told them many, many people, but are you asking about this particular moment right here?
You told them your family might be responsible.
Or
didn't
potentially
you?
someone to do with a former student or his current girlfriend. I mentioned lots of people that I thought could be responsible.
Okay.
Every
And
one of them
the lots of
sprouted out.
people that could have been responsible,
Your family was one.
Yep.
Because they might have done this thinking it would help you. I mean, that's what happened, right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Your family had your ex-husband killed to try to help you, didn't they?
No, that's completely untrue.
And back to the divorce, the petition where Danny is responding to your petition for the motion to relocate. Are you familiar with that filing, or do you need to take a look at it?
I need to take a look at it.
All right, it's going to be page 79 through 101, and this is back to our exhibit
Exactly.
56.
Can you read back,
And
guys?
again, that was the filing begins on page 79. I'm specifically interested in 82. And in this filing, doesn't Mr. Markel say, quote, the husband affirmatively alleges that the wife helped herself to non-marital assets, including money and stocks owned prior to marriage, as well as numerous personal non-marital belongings of the husband, such as luggage, bicycle, tennis racket, and family heirlooms. The wife has refused to return these items or to allow the husband into her home to see what other personal belongings were taken without his permission or acquiescence. So my point is, he's accusing you of theft in this paragraph.
Those are the words that are here, yes.
Yeah, and he's very adamantly objecting to your relocation, right? On page 82, it says the sole stated reason the wife seeks to relocate is so that she can be closer to her parents. Was being near your parents the sole reason that you wanted to relocate?
No,
It wasn't the sole reason stated in your petition?
it wasn't the sole reason stated in my petition, and it wasn't the sole reason that he and I talked about before I filed the motion to relocate.
Why was he so adamant and so confident that this was the real reason you wanted to be down there?
I think there's a lot of things in these pleadings that are not true. So just because it says something doesn't make it true.
Sure, but did he know that your mom was just grinding on this issue of trying to get you down there?
He would have had no idea.
He wouldn't have been, that wouldn't have been known to him?
I don't think so.
But he was accusing you in these pleadings of all kind of stuff, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but hiding financial assets, failing to disclose things, kidnapping his kids in the middle of, his business trip, all those sorts of things, right?
Yes, you said lots of things.
All right. And you said a lot of things too. There's filings going both ways that are pretty venomous. Would you agree with that?
I would not agree with that.
Yours were pleasant.
I'm not saying divorce filings are pleasant, but mine were not venomous.
Okay. Did your mother, Donna Adelson, review the filing in which Dan Markel is accusing you of this theft
You
and
can
all
do
this
it.
stuff?
I don't remember if she did.
What about the one where Dan Markel is asking that your mother not be permitted to have unsupervised visitation with the kids?
My mom never saw that because after he filed that, he then asked my parents to babysit the kids. My mom baked him banana bread, gave him a hug goodbye. So there was nothing truthful about that pleading that he filed, and my mom never saw it.
Why do you think he filed that?
He was really angry at me for leaving him.
Okay, so he didn't really want to limit your mom's visitation with the kids.
No,
And
he
that's
asked for her to
evidenced-
babysit after he filed that.
Evidenced by the banana bread. And so
Love
she
Georgia.
didn't even know about that filing.
She never knew about it.
Okay. And when she laid all those options out in that email to you about other options that you could take to secure the relocation as far as bribing, remember that?
What does she think people is?
Converting the Christian children to Christianity. Remember that
I
suggestion?
sure do.
Okay. What did she put in there that she viewed as
Next,
your
banana
most
bread.
non-negotiable and most important part of your divorce?
I don't know. Do you have something I can see?
States Exhibit 57.
I have to stop it there. She's already been through 2 other trials. She knows she gets asked this question every single trial. How is it she doesn't know now? How is she? I will say this over and over. She's educated. We all know that. Now, I'm apt to think, because she's such a stupid human being, I'm apt to think that, what did Wendi do to get this education? To get all this free ride in school? You know what they say, it's not who you know.
And it is page 1. Page 1, paragraph 2.
So you want me to read what she said here
I want you to answer the question. What was the most
God
important
bless
part?
Ruth,
of the
So,
divorce for my mom?
Shelley.
Yes.
It says here that for her it was relocation.
All right. And did you have 2 8-hour mediations in your divorce?
We had 2 very long mediations. I don't remember exactly how long they were, but they
Did
felt
they
like a very
result
long
in a
time.
He
resolution?
can do it.
No.
Was Mr. Markel seeking to depose your mom as part of the divorce?
I don't remember that.
Do you know if it ever happened?
I don't think it happened. I don't remember it.
Was the prospect of that upsetting to your mom?
I don't think so. I don't remember it. So I don't remember talking with her about it or
Did your mom call Dan any disparaging names around this time frame?
well, I just read them in the emails, but I
Okay.
don't remember them independently.
Okay. Did she call him an asshole,
Yes.
a narcissist, a
Yes.
bully,
Yes.
religious zealot,
Yes.
bastard?
That I don't remember.
Page 5.
Okay. Is it page 5 from the first email?
Yes, if you'll just go through by the physical pages.
Yeah, I think she'll walk it back.
I see. Yes.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
Yes.
Fucker?
Yes.
Yeah.
But in all the filings made on your behalf by the different lawyers that you
wonder.
had, and all of the emails that your mom sent, he was never described as abusive.
I mean, he was described as emotionally abusive. Yes.
Can you show me where he was described as emotionally abusive in any of those items?
Well, not by my mom, but in the pleadings.
Okay, show me that.
It's going to take me a while to find it.
Okay, well, it's
You want me to-
not in there, but you can get back to me
Well,
with it.
it is in there.
Objection, Your Honor. The comment, she's not testifying.
Hold on, please. Approve.
No. And if we did get the banana bread, if she really did bake that banana bread, I'm sure Dan threw it in the garbage, because I wouldn't trust what she put in that damn banana bread. Very good. Welcome. I want to wipe it off her face. This woman infuriates me more than somebody I've never ever met, and she infuriates me that much. She makes me angry. No, she didn't bake no bread.
Last comment by Ms. Kappelman. You may continue.
So would you have to review the whole file in order to find
Find that, or could you give us a starting point of which filing it might be located in?
It might be under the petition to relocate. It might be under the initial divorce proceedings. It wouldn't be in emails from my mom, but it would take a while to find it. It might be in the depositions.
Okay, did you view yourself as being stuck here in Tallahassee once the relocation was denied?
I didn't. I mean, I had a really nice life here.
Oh,
I did not view
please.
myself as being stuck.
Would you please turn to page 176 in that exhibit in front of you?
Ugh.
I think it's highlighted for you. Did you describe yourself in that filing as being stuck in Tallahassee?
And in your
I
book,
don't see it. You said it was highlighted, but there's nothing highlighted.
Okay, 176
Mhm.
on page.
I hope she does it for you.
Okay.
Just a moment.
I see the word
And
stuck.
Georgia
I
will be
found it.
after her.
Okay. So did you describe at least in one occasion being stuck in Tallahassee?
No, can I read the sentence?
Sure.
So it says, the husband has made it difficult for the wife with her colleagues at her current position due to his
Same here.
statements and actions. And the husband's intent is to relocate to a larger area at some point. So the wife is merely stuck in Tallahassee until the husband decides that the time is
Absolutely.
right for him to leave.
All right.
Meaning-
And had he accepted a job anywhere else by the time that he was murdered?
No, he hadn't yet been offered a job, but he was always looking.
Okay. So he was just going to move and just let you have the kids at that point?
He probably would have done what I did, which is have a conversation and see if it was a place that made sense for both of us to live.
And would you have moved to wherever he got a great job and
No.
started a new life there?
Potentially, yeah.
No.
Okay. Did you like Tallahassee?
Exactly.
I did.
Oh,
And you said, I think you did say this, but let me clarify. Was your mom aware of the order denying relocation?
My mom was aware of the order denying
And
relocation.
what about your brother, Charlie? Was he aware of that as well?
I'm
If you
sure
know?
my mom would have said something to him.
All right. So did your mom suggest any ways that you might coerce Dan Markell to let you move with the kids to South Florida?
Yes, I think we talked about that before.
We did. And for this, I'm referring back to those emails.
makes you angrier too.
And in particular, the bribe. So another bribe to get him to allow relocation. I'm on page 5 of the first email for the defense. Another bribe to get him to allow relocation should be the offer of plane tickets so that he can fly back and forth, right? So you were going to potentially offer this big monetary benefit that would allow him to fly back and forth to work. Is that the idea?
I never said that I was going to do any of that.
Okay, was that the idea that your mom had?
That was the idea.
All right, and the amount of the bribe is going to be, or was at least discussed as being $1 million.
I know,
Is
isn't
that
that sad?
right?
That is what they said.
Okay, and did you agree with that?
No.
Would that have worked?
I have no idea if it would have worked, but
You think he might have taken $1 million to let his kids go?
well, he wasn't.
I'm going to stop it right here because she throws her family under the bus again right here. It's like, are you an idiot?
letting his kids go. He would have moved to South Florida and he would have commuted back and forth to his job. So maybe.
Well, then why wasn't it offered?
Absolutely, Lou.
Because I didn't want to do it.
That's what it's all about.
All right. What about the idea that you could try to threaten Dan to convert the kids to Christianity so that they can fit into the Bible Belt here in Tallahassee? Is that something your mom suggested in these emails?
My mom did suggest that.
Okay. And specifically, this is on page 7 of the exhibit. let Jibbers know that your children will be baptized in the Catholic Church. Have a picture made of them in front of the church, all that kind of thing. That's what your mom suggested at one time.
She did, yes.
Okay. And did you do any of those things?
No, I don't even think I responded to it.
Do you know whether the defendant, your brother Charlie, was supportive of the plan to convert them or pose as converting them to Christianity?
I have no idea. I don't think he was particularly involved in this round of my mom's emails.
On page 11 of the exhibit, there's an indication from your mom that Charlie at least has discussed this with her and maybe is somewhat supportive. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance that would show Jibbers that he's, all caps and bold, not in control. So it just seems like your mom was pretty extreme about this situation of getting you relocated. Can you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. And Charlie was at least consulted on it or had offered some information about it.
Well, that was my mom's rendition, so I don't know if that's what actually happened or that was her perception.
Sure.
He's probably thinking right there that he didn't know about these emails, and he's like, oh my God, there's too much of a paper trail. What did I do?
Were you involved in the effort to consult a lawyer about
Not at all.
the bribe and whether that was going to be legal?
I wasn't the lawyer consulted in that.
No. Were you involved in consulting a lawyer with your mom? Okay. Do you know for sure if any financial offer was or was not made to Dan Markell?
I couldn't say for sure if they made it to Danny without me knowing, but I don't think so.
Is that something they would do, is try to negotiate with him behind your back or deal with this situation behind your back?
I don't think so. I think I would have known. Danny probably would have told me.
But you definitely didn't extend any of these offers or threats.
No.
It's disgusting, Elle. It's disgusting.
When was the divorce final?
The summer of 2013.
All right, I'm going to switch gears for a minute and talk about phone stuff. Was your cell phone collected by the police in this case after Dan was shot?
I gave the police my cell phone and asked them to search it if it could be useful.
Oh, I gave
All
it.
right, and around the time of the murder,
Don't
was
forget
your
that.
number 954-803-0079?
It was.
And can you agree that the numbers, let me show you an exhibit. 59, I believe. You will. Okay. Well, I want to explain what it is. Okay. Yeah, so I talked a lot about converting to Christianity, but I didn't mention what religion you are. We talked about Dan being more religious than you are. We didn't talk about what religion you are. So could you explain that to the jury, please?
Sure. I'm Jewish.
And Dan was as well, right?
And Danny was Jewish as well.
Okay. So I had this exhibit 59. This is not 59.
He was too busy going over his phone calls, the wiretaps.
Yes, that's what we did.
Isom said to her 3 times, I need to take your phone.
All right, you may not be able to do this, but states 59, I've got phone numbers attributed to your family members. Obviously, you don't know the other people.
She's so
Are
cold.
those
So
phone numbers
cold-hearted.
accurate, if you know, for the time
Yes.
frame around the murder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
you're
And
Lou.
then you are also familiar with the wiretap that was conducted in this case?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
did I provide you a
3
disc
times.
labeled disc 107, ask you to review some calls and see if you could authenticate the voices on those calls?
Yes.
All right. And for that, I made you a little spreadsheet, which I've marked as 61. And were you able to initial by each call indicating that the highlighted names are the voices of the people they purport to be?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, I asked to move to evidence state 61.
Any objection?
No objection. No.
State 61 is admitted.
All right. And
Imagine
if we
your
can
mom-
shift back to, we talked about your divorce being final. Once the divorce was final, weren't there still a lot of filings that went back and forth between both you and Dan Markel?
Yes and no.
Yes,
The
he
divorce
does.
was final. We had a final settlement agreement.
Mhm.
The agreement was I take my name off the title to the house. He pays me half the value to the house. So for within the first week, I went and took my name off the title to the house, and I waited until October when he was supposed to get back to me. He never paid me the money. And so I called and I asked what happened. That was the deal. And he said, I have compelling reasons. I'm not going to pay you. And so I made one filing, a motion to enforce the settlement agreement because he didn't do it.
Right. So you believe
Oh
that he
my
owed you
God.
money pursuant to the settlement agreement. And he was
Yes.
in violation of the settlement agreement.
Yes.
And he was of the belief that you had withheld some financial things from your affidavit, and maybe he didn't owe you the money that you had previously
Mhm.
agreed on because you had not been honest in the initial disclosures, right?
He accused my attorney of having unclean
Look, your
hands
phone.
and committing a crime.
Yeah.
Accused
and
you.
assisting you in withholding this money
Oh,
from the disclosures. Okay. All right. So I want to ask you about the motion to enforce marital settlement agreement and hold Dan Markel in contempt of court. That was filed, you may need to refresh your memory, October 31st, 2013.
That's probably why she hired Trump's lawyer.
Exhibit 56. And have you take a look at,
Yep.
this is going to be
I've
On
got every type
338.
of movement. And look where thought got them. Yep, I agree.
All right, could you just read the title, the
Hello,
caption
sweet
of
girl.
that filing?
Motion to enforce marital settlement agreement and to show cause why the former husband should not be held in contempt of court.
What does it mean to be held in contempt of court?
It means not to be doing what the court has asked you to do.
What can happen to you if you're held in contempt of court?
I don't know, really.
Could you be jailed?
I don't know.
All right, and
Okay. I don't care what type of lawyer you are or anything like that. How do you not know what contempt of court is? All of us know what contempt of court is. And she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. We'll say that in air quotes. And she doesn't know what that is. It just doesn't make no sense. Like, there's playing dumb about how much money you have. There's playing dumb about, this made her look really stupid. Maybe she was in the teacher's lounge at that time that was being taught. Just my opinion.
and when was this filed? This was you filing it, right? I mean, you're the client.
Right.
You're asking that he be held in contempt. And
I
you don't know
filed
what
this-
that means?
At the time I filed, which was 10 years ago,
I
Okay,
forgot
well,
now.
refresh your recollection with the
Okay.
document. Goes through 340.
Prison calls are wild odd. They are absolutely.
Okay, I have it.
Okay.
Just
So-
a stupid thing to lie about.
What was it you were asking for in this motion?
It was what I just mentioned. So basically, I took my name off the title to the house. He never paid. This was asking him to pay.
Cough up the money or be held in contempt?
Yep.
Okay. And what day was this filed?
This was filed on October 31st, 2013.
All right, so Halloween of 13, and that's the same day that you backed out of the contract to purchase the house in Tallahassee, right?
I don't
You remember
remember what day that was.
Okay. Do you remember that it was your brother Charlie that specifically
She uses
convinced
a
you to
lot.
back out of that particular house deal?
I don't actually. I don't remember that.
Exactly right, Bob. Exactly. Seeing Dawn in that turtle suit was great. That is going to be fireworks, Sky. Fireworks when she faces her. I cannot wait for it. Like, how can somebody be so smart but be so bloody stupid? I don't get it. Like, she's trying to busy herself. What could she ask me next? Let me see.
And see if these text messages refresh your recollection. Okay. And you may have to look around for context, but I'm specifically looking at this one.
Okay.
But she's bad at acting stupid, too. She's just a bad actor all around. She does, but she's stockpiling. Imagine when she gets to, like, her frustration of Wendi out. Holy.
Okay.
Yes, it did annoy
Does that
me,
refresh
too.
your recollection?
Honestly, I mean, I can read what's here, but I still don't remember.
Don't
it
really
independently.
remember. And after pulling the plug on the house, there were
Absolutely.
some emails where you were saying you can't answer the phone, you're crying too hard about the house. Like you seem genuinely upset about pulling the plug on the
Just
house, but
stole
now you
like
don't remember it?
Well, it's
$350K.
been 10 years.
Sure.
So a lot of terrible things have happened since then. It's hard to remember.
Only one terrible
I
thing
really
happened.
liked the house and was excited about it, but it was more than I can afford at the time. That's what I remember is talking with the real estate agent and
Absolutely. I agree to this one. I believe that George is going to let loose on Wendi in Donna's trial. And the minute Wendi gets off that stand and walks out that door, they're going to be there. And she's going to get a new pair of bracelets. The only thing I feel bad about is the boys are probably going to be in Austin. She's going to go to Tallahassee and she's not leaving Tallahassee. I 100% agree she gets arrested after she leaves that stand. Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
having her say we'd find another house and it wasn't the right one.
Would you have any reason to dispute that occurred on Halloween of 2013?
No, it probably did. I just don't remember.
Okay, and then a
Right,
few
Lou?
months later, on February 14th of 2014, there was another filing. I want to draw your attention to page 379.
We got 200 people in watching us,
I'm
guys.
asking
Please hit that like
what that
button
document
and
is.
subscribe button. Greatly appreciated.
Do you want me to read the title of the document?
Yes, please.
Former husband's counter motion to enforce marital settlement agreements financial provisions, and incorporated motion for sanctions.
Do you remember this filing?
I don't remember this filing, but in anticipation of my testimony today, I refreshed and reread it.
Okay, and he accuses you in this filing of breaching the marital settlement agreement in various ways, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and committing a fraud upon the court by omitting the $200,000 in assets from your financial affidavit.
That is what he was alleging.
And asked the court to sanction you.
Yes, that's what he said.
Okay, so again, you're both seeking the court to sanction each other.
Imagine that.
I mean, them's fighting words and lawyer terms, right?
Well, I was filing a motion to enforce a settlement agreement, so I don't think that's really fighting words. That's just asking the court to complete what it already said it wanted to do.
Okay. And on page 379, Dan suggests that the court send a strong message about your malfeasance by awarding him the entirety of the undisclosed assets of over $200,000, right?
That is what he asked
You're
for.
watching her.
Okay, and then on March 10th of 2014, on page 437, do you respond with your motion to
Absolutely.
dismiss the former husband's counter motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement that we just talked about?
I'm sorry, what is the page number?
437.
I'm not familiar with this, but do you want me to read through it?
Could you read the caption aloud, please?
Sure. Motion to dismiss the former husband's counter motion to enforce
Gotta be
marital
watching.
settlement agreements, financial provisions, and incorporated motion for sanctions for failure to state a cause of action, and motion to strike as a sham pleading, and motion to strike as redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous pleading.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you'll go to page 439, do you see a paragraph that begins, the vast majority of the former husband's motion?
Actually, don't see that. On page 439?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have it pulled out.
On number 8.
Yeah, the vast majority of the former husband's motion contains allegations that are redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous. Yada, yada. He's making false and immaterial statements against you. His pleadings only prove that he is a disgruntled former husband who cannot move past this disillusion. So it's getting personal. Would you agree with that?
Even when
My
she walks out.
attorney here is responding to his pleading, which was over the top.
And this is over the top, right?
I don't think so, no.
Then 6 days later, Dan files another motion seeking action against your mother. And that's the one we've already touched on. That's page 441. Is that right?
Page 441.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
Okay. Former husband's counter motion for enforcement of marital settlement agreement on parenting issues and motion for contempt and sanctions. Here.
Sorry, guys, I stopped it there. And that's true. She hadn't already signed off that house because Dan would have had to refinance the house. And that it's not there. She didn't sign off at that point. So, welcome, Serena. But it's true. She did not sign off that house. She's so full of lies. It's unbelievable. George is coming for her, and rightly so. I feel horrible for the boys that they're in this position. It is rumored that Rob is in really good contact with the Markells, so hopefully there's something there. Wendi does immigration law, and she probably knows how to get out of the country without being detected. It can't be that hard. Private plane, rich boyfriend. Well, he does have a plane that, and it's called, Million Air. But they've got to have eyes on her. Absolutely got to have eyes on her. And that's why I say she doesn't leave that courthouse. She might get in the hallway, but she don't leave that courthouse. Because rest her then, or keep having to pay people to watch her. Yeah, Patty P is a realtor. She said that too. Yeah. She really is. Wendi is just an outright liar. There's not a thing that comes out of her mouth. Now she'll give those half truths. She'll give you a little bit, but you always can tell when she's lying because she goes into a dramatic story. She can't answer the straight question and her hands start going. She's not a hand talker. That's not true. Please entered the house. Yeah, the one, I'm trying to remember his name. One of the first officers on there they took the keys and entered the house. She's a lie sandwich with fries and a Coke. And don't forget the ketchup. Little Miss Goody Two Shoes for immigrants. She exploited 3 immigrants and ruined their young families. I guarantee her stories came from her brother's escapades, is what I'm thinking. She knew that her brother was taking tourism trips over to these other countries for, fun with young people. Like, come on. And she talks about all this stuff and what she does. And she knew her brother was doing this. It's disgusting.
He's alleging, again, more violations of the marital settlement agreement, including communication between he and the boys. He wasn't happy with how much communication was happening, failing to keep him informed of where his kids are, failure to communicate about parenting decisions like the kids' schooling, diet, and extracurricular activities, and refusal to provide him access to the kids on their birthdays. So he's complaining about a lot of things associated with this, not just money stuff, it's parenting stuff too, right?
That's right.
And isn't it in this motion that... Yes, sir.
Oh, I said that's right.
Isn't it in this motion that Dan Markell seeks to enjoin you from allowing your mother from spending time with the kids without supervision?
Can you please show me which page that's on?
450. Do you see a paragraph beginning on 3 specific occasions?
Yes, I do.
Could you read that, please?
8A, on 3 specific occasions in November 2013, the children informed Mr. Markell, "Abba, Dad, Grandma says you're stupid." When queried as to why Grandma, the maternal grandmother, would say such things, the children replied jointly that it is because she says you are trying to take her sunshines away from her.
And continue, please.
In December 2013,
you don't have to say the name. Your child.
My child, the younger son, further stated to Mr. Markell in front of the former wife, "Abba, Grandma says she hates you." The children were visiting with their grandparents at that time.
Mr. Markell is concerned that continued exposure to such negativity forms a foundation for parental alienation. Is that what he was alleging about your mom?
That is what he is alleging in this document, yes.
And this was filed in court?
He filed this in court.
On what date?
It will be at the front of the document, right?
Yes, ma'am, page 441.
She doesn't even know where it's dated on a document. Come on.
This was filed on March 26th, 2014.
And this was the filing that never got ruled on, right?
I don't believe there was any ruling on this.
And that's because Dan Markell was killed before the hearing, right?
I don't know when it was scheduled for.
It wasn't even scheduled yet.
Okay.
It was waiting to be scheduled when he was killed. Is it fair to say your mom was worried about this motion?
No, my mom never knew about this motion. And as I mentioned before, Danny asked my mom to babysit after filing this motion. So I don't really believe anything that's written here.
Well, you forwarded this motion to your mother.
I don't believe I
via
did.
Email. In fact, you forwarded this motion to 12 different people. Your mom, Jeffrey Lacasse, Renee Griggs, Tova Walsh, Morgan Honeycutt, Gary Cohen, Miguel Edmondson, Trey Hubler, Robert Adelson, Rachel Frank, Jared Reich, and some MEHULNYC@yahoo.com. So if you weren't worried about this, why'd you send it to all these people?
I couldn't really say. It's been a long time.
And then a couple.
Sorry, guys. You need to see this. I saw this.
Even with this relocation request, was it?
I apologize.
I think you described.
Watch your mouth. It's actually quite funny.
I'll strike the comment, Your Honor. Here today in court with your mother?
No.
Oh, I think I lost it.
What I say here is that he would never do it.
Oh.
Wasn't the Adelson name in the press just
It
as
was
much?
not.
Sorry, guys. I hit the wrong button.
No. I saw him after that. We were talking. No. We celebrated my.
Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I meant to press pause.
Into a dinner where
Oh no.
Joke that he made in poor taste. Yes.
not to kill someone else.
No. Well, he never used his name.
Okay. Well, he's hiring you the TV because it's cheaper as a divorce present than a hit.
It's got to be back here. No, okay.
How soon after the murder did your lawyer advise you not to talk to your family about it?
What I say here is that he would never do it. Right under the
Oh,
highlighted
I'm so
part,
sorry,
I
guys.
say no,
I
he
can't
would never.
find it now. Oh no.
You need a copy?
Yeah.
Page 25, line 5 through 15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly. And it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV. So instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
When asked, would you ever ask someone to do something like this? You say not in a million years. When asked, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
I'm so
you
sorry,
say
guys.
no. And when Isom starts to ask you, what good does it serve? You say, I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie. Isn't that how it went?
This is the transcript, but I think there's also inaccuracies in the transcription.
Oh boy.
All
right.
Oh boy.
Do you want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
I mean, somebody hired them, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid them.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too.
So did I.
You didn't want them held accountable if it was your family members. Didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says, regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
But I don't think it was my family, is what
Different
I said.
now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what I
today,
said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's not
No
right.
further questions.
Cross-examination.
Judge, maybe we do a sidebar for
Very briefly.
very brief.
So my big blunder there, what I was trying to point out is, because we all know she leaves her mouth open, but the more and more that Georgia was throwing out, here's some receipts there, Blondie, her mouth closes and closes and it gets right tight. Because I'm so sorry I screwed that up, guys. I got here. Hi, welcome. I know, I love that. No further questions. Like she said it like a boss. Sit down, Rashi. He puts me to sleep. No further. I love Georgia. Love her. Oh, welcome back, Share Bear. I don't think if it was my family. What would be the difference? Somebody killed your children's father. What would be the bloody difference? Okay, Jib, thank you. I'll go back to 740 and then we'll go back to Rashi because thank you for that. Morgan Honeycutt is another one of Wendy's flying monkeys. Her and Jane. Marie, exactly. She didn't say it wasn't my family. She said, I don't think it was my family. Poor choice of words. Absolutely. That Morgan Honeycutt is the one that there's a picture of her online. She's like a big old bodyguard for Wendy. She wouldn't even let people go into the bathroom when Wendy was in there. It's ridiculous, flying monkey bodyguard. Rashi can't sit on those stacks of $100 bills. No. Hey, Arrest. Welcome back. She become one of Wendy's bodyguards. I believe she's an attorney from out of state. Yeah, she's a flying monkey. Okay, so 749. Let me just... Let's just go back to here. Just watch her mouth. You can see like she's like, it's almost like all the stress is in her mouth. It's weird.
Would you have any reason to dispute that occurred on Halloween of 2013?
No, it probably did. I just don't remember.
Okay, and then a few months later, on February 14th of 2014, there was another filing. I want to draw your attention to page 379. I'm ask you what that document is.
Do you want me to read the title of the document?
Yes, please.
Former husband's counter motion to enforce marital settlement agreements, financial provisions, and incorporated motion for sanctions.
Do you remember this filing?
I don't remember this filing, but in anticipation of my testimony today, I refreshed and reread it.
Okay, and he accuses you in this filing of breaching the marital settlement agreement in various ways, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and committing a fraud upon the court by omitting the $200,000 in assets from your financial affidavit?
That is
in
what he
there?
was alleging.
And ask the court to sanction you.
Yes, that's what he
And-
said.
Okay. So again, you're both seeking the court to sanction each other. I mean, them's fighting words and lawyer terms, right?
Well, I was filing a motion to enforce a settlement agreement. So I don't think that's really
Thank you, Lou.
fighting words. That's just asking the court to complete what it already said it wanted to do.
Okay. And on page 379, Dan suggests that the court send a strong message about your malfeasance by awarding him the entirety of the undisclosed assets of over $200,000, right?
That is what he asked for.
Okay, and then on March 10th of
Exactly.
2014, on page 437, do you respond with your motion to dismiss the former husband's counter motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement that we just talked about?
I'm sorry, what is the page number?
437.
I love the handle.
I'm not familiar with this, but do you want me to read through it?
Could you read the caption aloud, please?
Sure. Motion to dismiss the former husband's counter motion to enforce marital settlement agreements, financial provisions, an incorporated motion for sanctions for failure to state a cause of action, and motion to strike as a sham pleading, and motion to strike as redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous pleading.
And then if you'll go to page 439, do you see a paragraph that begins, the vast majority of the former husband's motion?
Actually, don't see that. On page 439?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have it pulled out.
On number 8.
Yeah, the vast majority of the former husband's motion contains allegations that are redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous. Yada, yada. He's making false and immaterial statements against you.
Chair Bear.
His pleadings only prove that he is a disgruntled former husband who cannot move past this disillusion. So it's getting personal. Would you agree with that?
Thanks, Jib.
My attorney here is responding to his pleading, which was over the top.
And this is over the top, right?
I don't think so, no.
Then 6 days later,
You can't get
Dan
both
files another motion seeking action against your mother. And that's the one we've already
You're
touched
crazy.
on. That's page 441. Is that right?
Page 441.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
Okay. Former husband's counter motion for enforcement of marital settlement agreement on parenting issues and motion for contempt and sanctions. Here he's alleging, again, more violations of the marital settlement agreement, including communication between he and the boys. He wasn't happy with how much communication was happening, failing to keep him informed of where his kids are, failure to communicate about parenting decisions like the kids' schooling, diet, and extracurricular activities, and refusal to provide him access to the kids on their birthdays. So he's complaining about a lot of things associated with this, not just money stuff, it's parenting stuff too, right?
That's right.
And isn't it in this motion that, yes, sir.
Oh, I said that's right.
Isn't it in this motion that Dan Markell seeks to enjoin you from allowing your mother from spending time with the kids without supervision?
Can you please show me which page that's on?
450.
They're gonna be the Turnpike Gang.
Do you see a paragraph beginning on 3 specific occasions?
Yes, I do.
Could you read that, please?
Right.
8A, on 3 specific occasions in November 2013, the children informed Mr. Markell, Abba, Dad, Grandma says you're stupid. When queried as to why Grandma, the maternal grandmother, would say such things, the children replied jointly that it is because she says you are trying to take her sunshines away from her.
And continue, please.
In December 2013,
you don't have to say the name.
Yeah.
Your child.
My child, the younger son, further stated to Mr. Markell in front of the former wife, Abba, Grandma says she hates you. The children were visiting with their grandparents at that time.
Mr. Markel is concerned that continued exposure to such negativity forms a foundation for parental alienation. Is that what he was alleging about your mom?
That is what he is alleging in this document, yes.
And this was filed in court.
He filed this in court.
On what date?
Oh, sunshine for Donna.
It will be at the front of the document, right?
Yes, ma'am. Page 441.
Yeah. Another flying monkey.
This was filed on March 26th, 2014.
And this was the filing that never got ruled on, right?
I don't believe there was any ruling on this.
And that's because Dan Markel was killed before the hearing, right?
I don't know when it was scheduled for.
Mhm.
It wasn't even scheduled yet.
Okay.
It was waiting to be scheduled when he was killed. Is it fair to say your mom was worried about this motion?
No, my mom never knew about this motion. And as I mentioned before, Danny asked my mom to babysit after filing this motion. So I don't really believe anything that's written here.
Well, you forwarded this motion to your mother
I don't believe I
via
did.
email. In fact, you forwarded this motion to 12 different people. Your mom, Jeffrey Lacasse, Renee Griggs, Tova Walsh, Morgan Honeycutt, Gary Cohen, Miguel Edmondson, Trey Hubler, Robert Adelson, Rachel Frank, Jared Reich, and some MEHULNYC@yahoo.com. So if you weren't worried about this, why'd you send it to all these people?
I couldn't really say. It's been a long time.
And then a couple days later, we know what happened.
So this was in March. So a couple days, I filed it. I sent it to people in July when Danny
You
was killed.
sent it, I'm sorry, you sent it a couple days later.
I sent
That email to 12 different people.
in March.
Yes.
You may.
Did you notice the mouth start to go really close, or am I just seeing that because I want to see the lie? But it's ridiculous. And where's it? It's not this one where she lies about not spelling gibbers. It's the first one, her first time on the stand. If Donna had watched Monk, she would know exactly how to wash, dry, and iron her money. Yeah, amateur. Educate yourself, people. Educate yourself before you start to launder money. I wonder if Robert will testify in Donna's case. I would feel bad for him, but I think this is the case that he will testify. I'm pretty sure this is the one, because he could really shine light on her way she intrudes into her children's lives. He could really shine a light on that. So I do think this is the one he testifies in. Oh no, Rashi's cranky. Okay, so we watched that. Now we'll go to rash bombs. And honestly, you don't need any sleeping pill with rash bomb. But one thing I did know, it's almost like he's trying to rehabilitate Wendi. Because when he had Katie on the stand and she was saying Charlie did it, all this stuff, he went at her. Well, he's got Wendi on the stand, and Wendi threw him under the bus. So he should be going after Wendi, but he's not. He's protecting her. And here she has no idea what to do with herself. Yeah, but I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine what he's got to go through. I believe Robert ran. I mean, If his family can kill his brother-in-law, surely his wife could be thought to be in jeopardy as well, right? Yeah. But he's separated himself so much from that family, and thank God he did. Because I think he's working for Donna, not so much for Charlie. Yeah, I agree. Anything to help. Yep. Exactly.
Everyone can be seated.
No, she can't. She can't.
Kappelman, you can resume your examination.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to get it to Rashi's here. Oh, come on. We can watch this part again.
Parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children,
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
but not if it's
I'm grateful
your
for
family.
already in
It's
jail.
not my family.
I mean, somebody hired him, right?
Like, it's just going to come
Not
out in Georgia or
necessarily.
something?
Somebody paid him.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too. Members, didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says, regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
But I don't think it was my family, is what I
Different
said.
now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what I
today,
said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's not
No
right.
further questions.
George is the boss.
Judge, maybe we do a sidebar for
I need the wine.
very brief.
She's fuming. She's fuming there. I like when she tries to look at the jury and nobody's actually looking at her, and she starts batting her eyes. Oh, look at her bat her eyes. Feel bad for me. My family did this to me. No, she doesn't care. I don't even think she'd care if Harvey went down. Rick Sanchez. Yeah, but I don't know. I think he's on the state side too. I'll have to look. I have the witness list. I'm pretty sure because he's been on the states before. She's glad the people reasonable are in jail. Charlie was in jail. The others are in prison. Yeah. That was fear. Yeah, I guess so. Not anger, fear. Like, oh.
You may examine when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Like it. Yep. Their offices are in the same building, aren't they? Isn't Tara Kawas? I know.
Good afternoon.
Good
She
afternoon.
doesn't.
Ms. Adelson, we've met before, right?
Yes,
We've met 2 or 3 times in our life, right?
that's correct.
We initially met in 2016 after the arrests of the killers in this case.
That's correct.
During that meeting, we had no conversation whatsoever about the substance of this case, right?
That's correct.
We met again in April of 2022 on the day that your brother was arrested, correct?
Correct.
You were at your parents' house and we were figuring out where he was, right?
That's right.
Again, nothing
got
was
no-
discussed about the
Hi,
case
Karen.
other than his arrest.
Correct.
In fact, before right now, we have never discussed your testimony at all.
Horrible.
Correct.
Okay. With that in mind, let me ask you the most important question. You're aware that the state has named you as an unindicted co-conspirator in the murder of your ex-husband, right?
Correct.
Look at the flying monkey there.
They believe that you, along with your brother, along with your mom, along with your dad, conspired with those three killers, including Katie Magbanua. They believe you all conspired.
No, but have you all seen his bio? I did a video on it. He's got embezzling, like things that he goes to court with, things like that. He's about money laundering, all of that. And I'm like, no wonder he's friends with the Adelsons. Like, his bio is incredible. That on his page, let me just bring it up for you. It's insane what they... I'm just going to bring it over here. I'm going to bring it up for you because it's interesting. Like, it really does explain why they're friends. It really, truly explains it. Let me just read. Let's see. Daniel Rashbaum focuses his practice on white-collar criminal defense, internal investigations, regulatory enforcement, and Spanish, which I cannot read, sorry. He represents individuals and institutions in high-profile matters, including those involving alleged violations of the federal securities law, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Acts, the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act, price fixing, alleged violations of anti-bribery and anti-kickback statutes, insider trading, money laundering offenses, export violations, and fraud against healthcare benefit programs. That's in his bio. That's what he does. If that doesn't scream Adelsons, I don't know what does. So is that how he knows them? Is that how he became friends with Donna? Like the money laundering. Did Rashi tell her to put it in the wash? Like, insider trading, we know there's calls with Charlie talking about stocks and everything all the time. Like, anti-bribery, like, this is insane. I'll go back to Rash now, but like it's insane. Like, I've looked to see if I don't believe he's ever done a murder case.
Conspired with them to kill your ex-husband. You understand that, right?
I understand that is what they believe.
You understand they put up a chart in their opening with pictures of all of you.
Yes, I saw the chart.
Ms. Adelson, did you have anything to do with the murder of your brother, of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
It's fair to say the state has it wrong.
Absolutely.
No, I'm
Were
not.
you in a conspiracy with any members of your
Thanks,
family to
June.
kill Professor Markel?
No.
Okay, with that starting point, let's get into your background a little bit. I'm gonna try to skip through stuff that's already been done.
I know, right, Taryn? It's crazy.
Growing up, you were pretty close with your parents.
Yes.
Fair to say they were middle class.
Yes.
You went to a public high school.
I did.
You did pretty well in high school,
Poor
right?
I was valedictorian.
But around a year or two before you went to college, your father was a victim of a Ponzi scheme, correct?
It was actually when I was in 8th grade.
And he lost much of his wealth.
He lost his whole life savings.
You still went to a prestigious college up in Boston, right?
No, they're not.
I got a full
given-
scholarship.
And then when it came time to go to law school, did you pay for law school?
I got a full scholarship.
How did you get that scholarship, Wendy?
You
How?
got asked a lot of questions
Because you're dumb as a
about
friggin'
divorce law in your direct examination. Are you a divorce lawyer?
I am not.
What type of law did you specialize in?
Immigration.